Hello, guys. Well, we are live, and this is going to be an interesting one. I want to see what people think. I mean, this Italy game's been a bit mental, so it's half time. Let's see what happens. Uh, right now, so just let me just I'm just going to quickly check to make sure that it's been tweeted out. Let me know what you guys think about what's going on today. I mean, I think that it's been one hell of a game, personally. Um, Italy, why did they not start Chiesa, guys? It's a mystery to me. I like Berardi, but I just think Chiesa gives you more offensively. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I just think Chiesa gives you more. Oh, down there. That's not right. So I'm gonna post a StreamYard link in the chat, and if people want to come on, just enter the studio, and we'll see what we can do. So it's in the comments now. I'm going to post it also on my on. I'm not sure. I might post it on Twitter. Might not. If we get people coming in straight away, then I'm going to allow it. But for now, I just want to see if people want to come in and have a chat. So do you feel like having a chat? Come through, my boys. And I want to see how this does. So let's have a look. What do you guys think of this Italy game? I think Italy are very dominant. I just think that, as I said earlier with the stream, it's a case of people needing to realize that Group A wasn't as tough as it could have been. And if you're gonna have, if you're gonna, you need to see how these teams are gonna play in one game situations where it's all on the line, and it basically it needs to we need to see what's going on in terms of actually, um, yeah. So let me know what you guys think, and if you want to come through, come through. Um, so I'm going to just redo this tweet because it needs to be bit more visible. So you want to come through? Let me just drop in the stream and we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat. We're live now. Sorry about this. Just going to update the Twitter. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think. I want to just quickly redo this tweet because I want people to see the thumbnail. Um, hey Sean, but thanks, brother. Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. If you want to come through, the links in the comments. No worries. Right. So that's done. Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Are we happy with this Italy game? Are we not so happy? I think this proves that this tournament isn't going to be as straightforward as we think. Everyone thinks that it's Italy that are going to be going through very easily. It's I, I like Italy. I did say earlier that I do think they might win it, but this tournament doesn't seem as cut and dry. I'm gonna post the StreamYard on Twitter as well. We've got CK in the building. Let's have a look at CK. There he is.
Yo. Yeah.
What
you still watching it? The early game.
Yeah. I'm just watching. I'm just doing some Twitter things, making sure people can get in here.
That game was definitely a game of two halves. Definitely.
Oh, he didn't just say game of two halves.
It was until extra time, obviously, but yeah.
The longer that game went, it was obvious which way it was going to go. Let's be real.
Italy dominated the first half. They should have scored. Immobile was rubbish all game.
Brother, it's Berardi for me.
Both of them. Because Immobile had a crazy, 30-yard shot. And he hit the bar.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he didn't do much. Their best player was probably Spinazzola.
He had a great game. I like Jorginho ball when he came on.
Who?
When Jorginho came on, he did...
Came off, you mean? Because he started?
Yeah, sorry, not came off. When he came off, I did like what he did before he came off, sorry.
Yeah. For me, Italy, they just need to make changes to their starting lineup. They still haven't started Chiesa the whole tournament.
I don't get it.
He has a lot of faith in Berardi, so I think he should start Chiesa and Chiesa, start what's his name? Belotti.
Yeah.
And start Locatelli and bench Jorginho and bench Immobile and Berardi.
Big up to the boys, Nom Nom. If you've seen him on the podcast, you know who he is.
Yeah, he's always in space on Twitter.
Nice to see you, Jose. Bro, guys, the links in the comments. If you want to come through, bro. You're more than welcome.
If you want to come back here and talk to us, or tell people what you want to say, tap that link and join in it.
Join in the thing.
That was probably Italy's worst performance, and they still scored 2 goals.
Oh God, Sabitzer, what have you done? Have you seen it?
No, stop watching the game.
Oh God, he's just had a mare. Got his feet in a tangle and then just fluffed it. Take it. I'm gonna get some water. Just I'll be back in a sec.
Yep. Yeah. The reason we all love the game is because of this. Facts, because the way the second half was going, it looked like Austria may score. Then the first half started, the game just switched. Italy got the goal. Chiesa bagged, and yeah, it was done after the first goal. Then Pessina, something like that, scored the second goal, and the game's over. I took the game off because I thought it was a game, and I think Italy have a big task next round if they play like this, because they really didn't perform how I thought they would. We did see our predictions earlier. We did predict Italy to win, and we seemed like we were correct. The game's probably over. I've stopped watching the game.
No, I've still got it up. It's 100. There's 8 minutes left.
8.
Yeah, 8.
The game's
probably
done.
A minute with extra time. But,
Italy had 2 XG and Austria had 0.83.
That's not surprising.
Italy had 25 shots, probably that's why.
I mean, imagine that. It feels like the Watford game, for God's sake. The Emery Watford game. 25 shots.
That game was boring. Damn.
Like, seriously, what I don't understand is why. I just feel like that game could have been finished in if he'd put out the right lineup, because we both rate Mancini in this tournament in terms of managerial talent.
The best coach.
If he if he had just taken if he had just started with Chiesa and Belotti instead of Verratti and Immobile, that game is finished in 60 minutes. I don't care what anyone says. Do you know what I think? But like,
Yeah. I did say on Twitter, Belotti and what's his name? Belotti and Chiesa should have started because Austria scored 2-1. Now I feel like I have to put the game back on. Yeah, I did think Chiesa should have started, and I think he's deserved to start from. I'm not sure if he's unfit or something. Every time he's come on, he's looked good. So, and Chiesa's the only reason the biggest reason why Juve even made top 4. So, I don't get why he's starting. He's probably the best player in the front line. And right now, they're left back.
I'm sorry, but
left wing back.
Sanitizer gives ponytails a bad name. I can't.
Sanitizer. Wait, who
I
scored?
said it, bro. Sanitizer.
Did he score?
No, of course he didn't.
Who scored?
Who scored? Oh no! Oh god! But I've been going back and forward. I didn't see the goal. I don't know who scored. Where is it?
What? I need to. I might put the game back on. But
no, I'm gonna. I have it up, but I'll find out who scored in a second. I don't think it was Sanitizer. If it wasn't him, I'll stop calling him Sanitizer.
It was Alessandro Schupf or Schupf, something like that.
Oh,
yeah. He's the one.
No, it says Sasha. What the hell is this guy's name? Kaz. I don't know. Oh, that's a rubbish goal.
You just saw the goal.
Yeah, I've seen the goal. It's a rubbish goal. To be fair, it's a good header off the corner, but like the defending there is for Italy. That's suspect by their standards.
Oh yeah, and thank you for 300 followers on Twitter.
Oh yeah, 300. I just saw it was like 290 something.
Yeah, we literally just here.
Thank you guys, seriously.
No.
I'm gonna quickly do the. I'm gonna put the StreamYard as its own post.
No worries.
So,
yeah. So what? There's 5 minutes left. 4 minutes left, in fact. On my thing, I put the game back on, even though the game was done.
I've got too many.
3 minutes left. I got 3 minutes.
I've got too many tabs up. I've got Twitter up. I've got this up. I've got making sure that the thing is I'm going back and forth too many times.
How are you, man? How are you guys in the comments doing on fantasy?
Yeah, let me know. Actually, I'm not doing great because I suck at fantasy. But,
I'm 15th in the Ball Over Passion League.
I'm like 20 something. I think 25th or something.
Of all the guys that come on Ball Over Passion, highest. I've got 143 points.
Yeah, I've got like 120 something before this week.
Yeah, before this week I had 136. You had 120. So I'm 16 ahead of you.
Yeah.
What did you make of the Wales Denmark?
Denmark. I think that game, as we said, I don't think it was a case that there was too much quality between the two teams. It was a good game, but it just seemed like the floor of that Denmark team was higher, even though the ceiling of the Wales team was higher. But the floor of that Denmark team got them through it. If that makes sense. Oh, he's gone. He's off. He's bear with him. But yeah, as I was saying, the floor of that Denmark team is a lot higher. I'm gonna do some quick on the fly editing. So so let's have a look. When it comes to this Italian team or even the Denmark team, it's a case of you have to really think about the floor of the teams. It's a good team throughout. But the Welsh team, I think it reached its end point because some of those players are just not individual quality wise. It's just they just didn't have it up to scratch. So let me know what you think, and please, guys, come through if you fancy having a chat. And just if you don't fancy having it coming on the live, let me know in the comments what you want to talk about, because we're going to get into a lot of things. I want to talk Arsenal. I want to talk football in general, top four, the Euros, all of it. We're going to get into it today.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah.
He's back.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. For me, with the Wales Denmark game, I just thought they got absolute 4-0 was a bad scoreline.
Yeah, I think it flattered. I think it definitely flattered Denmark. But
yeah, no, Denmark did do well though. They played well, and they do deserve. After what happened to them earlier in the tournament, I think they do deserve some sort of glory. Someone.
I think I don't see them. I can see them. I can see them getting to the semis. Can you?
I'm not sure they're around though. I don't know who they play next yet.
I mean, let's bring it up. Let's bring it up. Let's get it. And goddamn Austria! I had Donnarumma in goal.
Same.
So, that's a downer.
S. Your mic's muted if you are saying something. Hello?
Your mic.
Oh,
he's off.
Go on, bring up the tournament. The
yeah,
tournament.
I'm gonna bring it up now. I'm just going through the. Just cover me if anyone comes in, mate.
Yeah, if someone comes in, I'll bring them through. Do you still think Czech Republic will beat Holland?
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
I mean 100%. I'm backing my own opinion, not as in 100% they'll win. I don't really change. I'm not changing my mind over 2 hours. It's not. But what I will say is that I think that the whole situation with the
Ericsson.
Ericsson stuff.
Wait, we're talking about Denmark? Denmark
You brought Ericsson up.
Sorry, yeah. I'm talking about Czech Republic. Czech Republic, yeah.
No, but with the Czech Republic, if you look at their draw, I've got it here. So if you look at the draw, their draw is actually fairly okay. So yeah, we've got someone in. Hello, Matt.
No, Matt, your mic's muted. If you want to say something, on your mic.
What's going on, guys? Just here to listen. Not much to say.
All right, cool. No worries.
No worries.
Uh,
Go on.
so
Would it be at the top or the bottom? Right now,
it'll be at the bottom.
Yeah.
So
okay. So they play Czech Republic or Holland. So they could get to the semis.
Yeah.
They could. And they could even get to the final. You never know.
Well,
I don't think they would.
I
Again,
mean,
I don't think they would, but you never know.
Honestly, from this side of the group, is this game. I feel like whoever gets out of this game gets to the final.
Probably, yeah. England's on the easier side again.
Yeah, the game's over. So,
yeah, I just saw. So Italy's through.
Yeah, Italy are indeed through.
We did predict it, so that's one out of two so far for today. We predicted Wales could win. We did say it was much closer than you thought it would. You said it would be an upset, right?
I said it's the Austrian game. Did I?
So so let me tell you what you said. What I remember you saying, anyways. For the bottom three games, you were like, out of two of these three, I see it.
Not for the Italy game, yeah. For the bottom three games, yeah.
So you were like, no, I'm talking about Wales, Denmark.
Yeah. So I thought Wales might be able to pick up an upset because of the individual quality.
I think for me, with the Wales thing, is just Ramsey's so good in tournaments.
Yeah.
Like his qualities are suited for tournaments, and they have Bale and James who have pace, obviously, and pace kills, especially against a low block or in transition. Yeah. So I did think Wales could win. I did make sure to say that it was an even game that either team could win, and Denmark did make it look like it definitely wasn't an even game, and they smoked Wales to pieces, to be honest. 4-0 was a mad scoreline. The second goal, I don't think should have counted in the red card. Shouldn't have been a red card, but I do think Denmark definitely deserved the win.
Yeah, agreed.
On the balance of play, anyways.
I don't know.
Why do you think Czech Republic will beat Holland?
I just think that it's a case similar with the Italy group. I think that that Netherlands group, a team has played well, but against the opposition they've been coming up against, I don't think that it's enough to say that okay, they're going to make a run.
Do you think isn't Holland in Ukraine's group, right? They're in the same group.
Ukraine, North Macedonia, and Austria.
Don't you think Ukraine and Austria are on the same level as Czech Republic? Or you think Czech Republic is better than them?
But I do, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the group that the Czech Republic was in, look at the group that they were in. They were in a group with Croatia and England and Scotland, and very much held their own in that group. I just think as well, I'd rather come up against good teams early and actually put and be able to prove that I can make a run and keep that same form going throughout the tournament, instead of coming up, hyping yourself up against Austria and North Macedonia. Ukraine are a decent team, fair.
Well, you beat you beat what's in front of you.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, it's better to go. It's better to go with the harder teams and.
What do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, again, the Czech, as I said before, the Czechs play a very physical game. They're reliant on their physical prowess. If you look at the players they have available, the likes of Schick, Souček, Soufal, even Vlasic. If you look at Vlasic, the goalkeeper, as the game goes on, he does tend to get a bit more. He has to be a bit more vocal, because sometimes his defense kind of just the level of it kind of goes down. So
I think there's someone backstage.
Yeah. I'm looking at the thing. So give me a thumbs up when you want to come through, bro. So we good? Yeah, come through, brother. Come through. Yo.
Hello? You're gonna have to turn off your TV, mate. It's making noise in the background.
Haas, what are you saying?
What's going on? What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
What did you make of the game?
It was an interesting game. I thought Italy, they were a little bit slow, in especially in attack. Like they were moving the ball quite well. It's just the last action. They didn't have anyone that can like speed up the game. But yeah, I thought Austria, they did quite well as well. Like they won quite a lot of duels. They won a lot of duels. They had some interesting moments on the break. But the thing is, they don't have a lot of quality.
Yes,
they were really left centric. They were relying on Alaba to make like the last decision because he's the only ever like good footballer and he's a left back. It's a little bit difficult. Like there was one time I think Alaba, he was sprinting and then like he could have made a really nice half space cross to Arnautovic a few times. He was peeling off Bonucci, but he didn't really do it. But yeah, if Austria had a little bit of quality, they could have done something. But yeah, but as Curran and Zed was saying like a few hours ago on the other space that if Italy come against someone that's got a bit of pace and power, they could be in a bit of trouble. Like Arnautovic today, he's like 32, 33. He was causing a lot of problems and he's quick, but he's not that quick.
Yeah.
But if they face someone like if they face someone like Belgium or France or something, they could be in trouble.
Yeah, with me, like watching that game, I think Austria got into some nice positions. They were dispossessing Italy, but when it came to the final action, that they just didn't have enough. Like they didn't have the quality, as you said, because there were times when they were like 3-on-2 against Italy's backline, and then Lima, who I think had a shocking game, missed many passes. So yeah, I think Italy got lucky, not lucky, but they got lucky that Austria didn't have as much quality up front that other teams on their side of the bracket could definitely have with Mbappe, Lukaku, and players like that.
Yeah, even with De Bruyne, I think he would feast with that situation with like running into the half space and spamming that cross, like because I know De Bruyne, he loves to do that.
Yeah. Nom.
Yo, guys, hello. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing good. How are you, Nom?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah. I was just gonna say that I agree with what Hass was saying. Austria just don't have any outlets really. And I thought maybe the bringing on Sasa earlier would have been much more effective. They can't sort of break through the flanks. Maybe getting on a second striker, going 2 up front, and then trying to get balls into the box would have been a better ploy for them. I think if you look at the amount of shots they took a lot of shots, but I think they're more like hit and hope, not really sort of getting their sort of attacking players in dangerous areas or stretching Italy. But they did a really good job on sort of neutralising Italy for large parts of that game. Certainly, I think you could see they were visibly tiring when they got into extra time. So the Italians are sort of, they do this. They're built for these kind of games. The Italians, they know how to sort of play through these tense games. They don't really panic. They look for their opportunities. So
yeah, it was weird what they were doing in the group stage because traditionally they don't do 3-0s. They've never done it in the Euros, in fact. So for them to do 2 in the group stage, I didn't think it was ever going to continue. I always thought their games would get tighter, but now they scored like 10 goals in 4 games. Yeah. So they're still scoring, and they're still not starting Chiesa. So I think
they are. I mean, but I think what this game showed is that 2 things really. Austria are an underestimated team. I think they're quite physical. They like to get into people's faces, and they're quite awkward to play against, right? The other thing is the Italians are vulnerable. There is places or areas that you can actually hurt them. And I think if you get a lead against the Italians, I think they'll find it difficult to sort of keep their structure going, the structure that they play with. And then that's when you can expose them a little bit further on transitions. Because they're built...
Austria were playing through them at times. They were playing through them with quick passes, and then, as we've said, the final action wasn't good enough.
Yeah, so, I mean, they didn't have that kind of threat I mean, they were sucking Italy in, and Italy were pushing. You know, if you saw them, they had like their line was high. They just had a couple of pace outlets. I think Italy wouldn't dare push up as high as they want to, or as they did. I think that's the Italians taking advantage of the fact that they knew that the Austrians didn't have an outlet really to outrun their lines.
Yeah, because early they were playing with a high line and Arnautovic going behind them early. And
yeah, I think it was that a couple of mistakes the Italians made, didn't they, at the back, and they just let him in.
Yeah.
I felt sorry for Austria because I felt tactically they were really good, and sort of they're making Mancini earn his money. You know, it was just that they just didn't have enough pieces there to sort of implement getting a goal ahead. I mean, to be honest, if that goal didn't get ruled out for offside, you know, the one
that was a very good goal.
Yeah,
I love that header. That header was a lovely header.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Arnautovic is like. We've seen him for West Ham when he was in the Prem. He's a handful on his day, right?
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. I think the Italian defenders, if they're really put under pressure, particularly the central defenders, and you push them back towards their box and you make them run towards their box, they're always, I think, vulnerable. I mean, they're good. They're a great defensive unit. Italians always build good defensive units.
If you try and isolate them in 1-1.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm saying, Hassan. Yeah, if you can isolate them, make them run back towards their goal, and they've got space to cover, then they become vulnerable.
Yeah, so. Bonucci especially. I don't know if anyone remembers when we played AC Milan in 2018. Welbeck absolutely destroyed him over the two legs.
That would be his nightmare, man. Welbeck would be like the kind of player profile that would be Bonucci's nightmare. Someone who's relentless.
Arnautovic is a little bit similar, but he's a little bit more nuanced. He's got a lot of technique, but he's just as like physical and quick over the first few meters. And Bonucci, when he has to defend what's behind him, he gets really stressed. But imagine someone like Mbappe or Lukaku or someone like that. He's going to be in trouble.
This is what I think. I think they should have played both strikers, because I think if Arnautovic could have played off Sasa, and by having a player like Sasa up there, you haven't got outlets, Arnautovic becomes one of the outlets. Does that make sense? And then that occupies the two defenders, and then he can run off him. So I mean, that's easy to say on hindsight, man. But I think if people watch that game closely, they could see that the Italians aren't what I call indestructible, and
if anything, I think they've peaked too early.
Yeah, that's another issue, isn't it? On tournaments, some teams have played really brilliant.
Yeah, all the good teams, they start a little bit slow. Like Germany of 2010, 2012, 2014, and 2016, they would start really slowly, but when the knockout starts, they peak. France as well. France as well in 2018 and in Euro 2016, they would start slowly. Yeah, Portugal as well. Belgium usually in 2018 they start slowly, but then they pick up usually. But in Italy in this case, I think they may have peaked too early. But also we have to take into account the quality of the group, because Wales, Switzerland, and Turkey, they were Mickey Mouse teams. Let's be honest. They weren't very good.
I'll tell you what, Hassan, you're a brave man, because if Wave hears this,
I think Wave can acknowledge that Turkey.
No, I know. I was just saying.
God, man, they disappointed everybody, man.
To be honest, Wales didn't look the same, neither did they. I mean, they weren't the same Wales that we saw in the last championship. So, it's
Costa. Do you have anything you want to say? I'll take it that you don't want to speak.
Don't worry about that. What do you guys do? Is there anything football related you want to talk about, or do you just fancy talk about this Euro stuff?
I really don't mind.
No, you fancy anything? Anything in your mind?
Just some interesting things. I thought I saw the Denmark game earlier on. I thought that the number 5, I can't remember his name now, Maley. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah. I mean, I heard. You see, this is the thing. I was talking about before. Atlanta are very good at recruiting for the Belgium league, and he's another player they picked up from there. And I really liked the look of him. He was really intelligent the way he played, technically really good. I was just, sometimes certain players catch your eye. I mean, I heard about this guy when he was, I think, in Belgium, and he was meant to be a top class player there. He was one of the best performers for, I think it was Ghent, and then they went off and bought him.
With the Belgian league, it's very much either they go to the top or they kind of just they don't really take off. Like there's like people like Marco van Ginkel, for example, that were hailed as like real ballers, and is now just going back to PSV for good now. I think it's finally.
It's just hard to scout from there, to be honest.
He's
There's players that
out
have
at
come out
present.
there. A lot of players that have come out there, but it's just hard to scout from leagues like that in general. And
Yeah,
Atalanta,
there isn't much info for them, is there? Compared to the
Atalanta's
other
a
big
good
five leagues?
team to show that there are players in other leagues that you can get and they can do something.
I mean, talking of scouting, personally, I can't make it, but CK and Z and George will be discussing how we're talking about. We're going to be talking about scouting. Well, I won't be. They will be talking about scouting and how they do it and what kinds of things they look out for and what process they go through.
Yeah.
So,
on the topic of scouting, have you guys looked at Ben White? And if so, what do you think about Ben White?
You guys go first. I'll go last on this one.
Okay, I'll start. Initially, I was a little bit annoyed because I was thinking, oh, he's going to block Saliba's position at the club. But thinking about it and taking some time to digest it, I realized, he's replacing Luis. And I watched some complications on YouTube. I know it's the worst place to look at a player because you don't see them over 90 minutes and how they react to stress, especially for central defenders, because you need to look at certain game states, how they react. But looking at him on the ball, he is incredible on the ball. The guy, he can break lines with ease.
What presses me is the verticality of passing. He loves it. He doesn't like going sideways, and he likes driving into the box.
Yeah, he loves to play the ball in behind for the winger. That's the thing I noticed, especially.
Yeah. But with me, I think there's not a better signing. I don't think we could make on the ball for a centre back, maybe even in the Prem. So he's still young. What, 22, 23? He can play right back, DM. Centre back, right wing back, he's very versatile, and he doesn't have the Luis problem of mobility at times. Because sometimes,
shall I bring it up? Because you know how I love. You know how I love talking. If I'm going to talk players, I have to bring up a lineup.
Yeah, with his passing, he's very good, very very good on both feet. He loves driving, and he can overlap and step into midfield, and he's not reluctant to pass
and he's proactive as well.
Yeah, because a lot of the times you see Luis he's one of the best ball playing centre backs ever. But Luis and Leno sometimes have a problem of the reluctance to pass. They hold onto the ball too long at times, and that just slows down stuff. And with Ben White, I don't think we have that problem.
Yeah, I think CK. I think going back on that, David Luiz was our best ball playing centre back last year. Well, he used to frustrate me though. What he used to frustrate me with was that a lot of the times he would play the obvious ball. Do you understand? He didn't have, or he overhit the ball, or he would take a touch and then play it inside, then ask the ball back, and then you think, well, why did you ask the ball back then when you had an opportunity to pass it before? And I think Ben White is what I would call a high IQ on the ball player. I think there's still work to be done as a defender. But that's what happens when you're 23 years old, right? You're not the finished product yet. But as in terms of on the ball, he has such a high repertoire and things that he can do. He's one of those kind of defenders who's very comfortable at beating the player if he feels like he's under pressure to do that. He's very good at switching the ball. He's very good at playing the ball down the channel. He's very good at playing the ball inside the fullback to get the winger in. So he's got what I would say a full repertoire of things that will keep a pressing attacker thinking. Do I go and approach this guy or do I stand off this guy? And I think the minute a pressing player is in two minds of what to do, he's won, right? He's won the first phase of play, because the first phase of play is all about having guts and intelligence, and you need to have a combination of both to be able to be really good at that phase of play. I think it's a smart move because, I'd like Saliba to stay because I think Saliba proved last year that he can play left centre back, and I think, in my mind, that would make Saliba, Ben White, and Gabriel Magalhaes the three sort of main central defenders. And I think Mari knows his role in the squad. I think he realised his role in the squad last year. He's more than happy to be the experienced guy. and coming in and playing games when needed to be. But I think Mary's the only player, if in my opinion, if Holding goes, because I think if he realised those three guys ahead of him, I think Holding will be the player who will decide to leave. And I think having those three guys in rotation wouldn't drop the quality of what we're trying to do as a team, and you'd be able to push that line much further up the pitch than you would do if you had two slow players waiting to sort of rotate with two quick players. So that's how I see it in the bigger picture of things, and not just who Ben White is, but how Ben White fits in with the sort of squad building that we're doing.
I mean, talking of Ben White, I'm just going to bring this up because you know how everyone knows I love a formation. I'm going to bring out. Don't laugh at me. You know I love doing this. So I'm going to zoom in. Don't worry. But
it's the same place at centre back.
Yeah. So basically, I'm going to have him in both positions here. So I'm going to have him either at this moment right now. He's here, right centre back. So let's get everyone in.
Where would Holding go?
Holding is on the bench here.
He'd be offered.
So basically, this is the 3-2-5 in attack, and we'll step up to, so the 6 will step up to form the 2-3-5 and build up. So in this situation, you have Ben White on the right side in basically a back three, and he provides an outlet ball in terms of to the wings, like the Weaswood, so we can step in here, and he can spray the ball to your number 3 or spray the ball to your number 2, or progress the ball internally, not internally, vertically, or if you want to change it around. So if we basically just make a few quick adjustments, so just take basically move back there. Basically have the.
What position is he playing now?
He's playing as an inverted right back, so I'm going to just change these around quickly. So basically you have the number 11 out wide, so this might be Bukayo Saka, for example.
Yeah.
And then you have, for example, you have the basically he's basically the number 2 in the situation. So if I'm going to move the number 2 into a lower down position. So basically you'll have this, and this player here might be James Maddison, and this player.
Someone here really loves Maddison.
So basically you'll have runs. So you're basically, what you're having is Ben White will play in this left half space, into the right half space role, where you'll have people flooding the box.
He's very good at that, by the way. Very good.
So you'll have basically rotation going on here, and you'll have players going. So you'll have players going like this, for example, and you'll have overloads from the right hand side into the box here, or you'll have the number 11 flooding the box, and you'll have Ben White going in further to provide right half space crosses into the box.
Okay.
So this basically works in the 4-3-3, and I think that if you do look at Ben White, he does have the ability to move into a 4-3-3. If it is Mikel's preferred, I'm going to pick this up now. If it is Mikel's preferred option of attack, if we want to go for 4-3-3, Ben White provides you as a very good option in terms of someone that can step up and move into that midfield. He's played CDM before, he's played a right back before, and he has played centre back before. So he gives you a versatile amount of options. I think he's an upgrade on Chambers, honestly. I don't see him as a complete sort of centre back only. I have to start him at centre back. I think he can be centre back, he can be right back, and if we need him, he can actually play CDM.
I just think he plays there in terms of if we have an injury or something. I think primarily he's a centre back, and I think he can be a very, very good centre back. I just think at times, because we spoke about what he's very good at, but at times he can be rash, and if you see him in a door, he's a strong tackler, but he can get caught on his heels. So if you watch him, against Man City, the first game against Man City. Foden catches him on his heels, and then Foden just runs down the line and scores himself. So he's young.
Was that at the Amex?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I remember Foden just like going on a mad run.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the first game I thought you were talking about the Etihad.
No, he was very good at Etihad.
He was very good at Etihad, yeah.
Okay.
He caught Foden with his recovery pace.
Yeah.
But that was the second half of the season, and that was like the 37th game of the season or something.
Yeah, they won like 3-2, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They pinned City back. They played very good that game, but with him, he's patient on the ball and very composed, but off the ball you can catch him being rash. And he needs to improve aerially as well.
Yeah. But the first point can be coached.
Definitely.
Yeah, because Arteta, there's one thing I noticed about him. If you look at our core individually, if you compare what they were like before Arteta, and if you look at them today, you can see nearly all of them have improved stratospherically. Like Martinelli, he used to play at 300 miles per hour when he first came here, and I used to think, oh, this guy's going to be a striker. But now, because of Arteta's coaching, he's taught him La Pausa, he's taught him how to like stop, start, how to play the 1-2, how to go around the fullback, how to cross with his left foot. If you look now, Martinelli's become such a rounded winger now.
Yeah, that Newcastle game was a big example.
Yeah.
Big example. And
yeah, to the point, for like a whole year, I thought this guy is a striker. This guy is like Luis Suarez reincarnate. But now I'm thinking he's probably 2006 Cristiano Ronaldo now.
He could be. I think he could be more than just a striker. I think he's a striker, but Arteta's done, I think, which Norm likes coaches to do. I think is to teach players and let players play in different positions to find themselves. Because even though I think he is a striker, in the future he could be on the left wing. But I think he's a striker because I think he runs in straight lines much better than he runs in diagonal. So
yeah, because he's got such raw pace.
Yeah, he's very explosive.
Yeah,
him being benched for such a long time after his knee injury would definitely benefit him because I think what's his name? Neto, who I also think is a massive prospect, won't be afforded that time to rest after
because he's the main man for Wolves, isn't it?
Yeah, and we could have, even though in the short term people may say, "Oh, we needed Martinelli and we lost some games." In the long run, it will only benefit us. Him getting that rehabilitation.
Yeah, and plus we only play one game a week next season. He'll have more time to train, more time to rest. I think everything is set in place for Martinelli to explode next season. Like at least 15 Premier League goals if he plays consistently on the left wing.
Or striker.
Yeah.
So,
but then again, the striker debate has become quite interesting at Arsenal because, like, if you look at how Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe are developing and the way they try to play with Aubameyang, it's like, have you noticed they play a lot better with Lacazette, even though his contract is expiring as well? It leaves a very interesting question to be answered, like, what's going to happen with the striker position at Arsenal in the next year or so?
Yeah,
what are the club going to do?
We have 5 strikers. And Nketiah and Laka on 1-year deals over 2 years, and Martinelli and Balogun are 4 and 5 years.
Yeah.
So they're the long-term ones right now. And I think next season, just to minimize risk, I think we have to sell 2. I think, and I think it'd be risky to keep 4 because we don't.
You're just gonna like rustle them because we don't have enough games to give them because we're not in Europe next year.
So keeping 4 would be very risky because even if he decides next season Martinelli will only play left wing, there'd still be problems there because we have a lot of wingers.
Yeah.
So we need to sell at least 2 strikers and at least 2 right backs. Okay, I think a lot of people who know you on Twitter know how much you love Maddison. I knew the guy was gonna be a very good player when I first saw him at Old Trafford versus United. I remember that day I was coming back home from work. I got some food for my brother and sister because my mum and dad they went Mecca. I think I told you guys. They went Mecca in 2018. So I got my brother and sister some food. I watched the United Leicester game because that was on Friday Night Football. I think first game of the season.
And then I saw Leicester play, and I was thinking to myself, who's this number 10 for Leicester? He's popping off 1-2s, he's receiving it between the lines, he's playing behind Fred quite nicely. And then I saw his name, Maddison. I thought, okay, I'm going to follow this guy. He looks quite interesting. And then ever since then, I thought, yeah, this guy he's so good. He's so good. Like the way he just pops shots off, the way he makes the right half space cross, the way he creates his dribbling. I wish he was a little bit faster, but you can't get everything you want in this life. But I think under Arteta, oh my god, I think this guy's gonna explode. And the way he got left by by Southgate in the Euros as well. I think he's gonna come to us if we get the deal done. I think he's gonna come to us very hungry
with a fire on his belly, because
there's
there was 4 people ahead of him because Lingard was in the provisional and he wasn't. So there were 4 10s ahead of him, and a player with that much confidence who calls Thierry, and he's in a Thierry.
You only known him 5 minutes, brother. You're calling the greatest Premier League striker by his first name. You should be saying Sir or Mr. Henri.
serious confidence. Oh,
you know what though with him is, I think people forget how good he is, because I think when he first got into England and it was between him, Jack, and Mason Mount, everyone was saying, right, which of those out of those 3 players
and
would
he
we
was
take?
top.
Yeah, he was 100%. Everybody was raving about him. Every time people watched Leicester City, they were watching him and his performances and commenting on that. So I think, he's had a bad season last year for his own standards, not in terms of numbers. And this is the good thing about him. I think both him and Jack have got parallels, because I think both the guys said that they watched their performances, they talked to their coaches, and they both were in this journey at that age. I mean, I think Jack's a bit older than him.
Yeah, Jack.
Where they're both discussing about putting end product to their game, and not just doing all the nice things, but actually, leading to end product. And I think
they want trophies and end product. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's hungry for trophies. Only he's not hidden that. He hasn't hidden that sort of fact. I think if you go to a club like Leicester, and I think Leicester fans listening into this might hate me for saying this, but the truth is, they all, these players, if they've got aspirations to play for England on a regular basis, they unfortunately will have to move to a bigger club to sort of achieve those things.
And plus, Arsenal, he'll have the exposure as well.
Yes.
Yeah. 100%.
At the end of the season, didn't he get like a tattoo of the FA Cup?
Yeah.
When he comes,
he's going to be when he comes here, he's going to be drunk with FA Cups, because we win that shit every 2 years.
Look. We are building Love Island FC out here. Okay, we are building Brexit FC Love Island edition. Okay, this is what we're doing right now.
I just want Maddison because he'll offer us something I don't think any other 10 on the market can offer us. That he's both-footed and his set pieces are elite. So,
and he scores every time in big games. He answers the question every single time.
Yep, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, all of us. He scored.
Man City as well.
Yeah.
Well,
we go on assist versus Liverpool. He scores against all of us, and he gets assist versus all the big 6. Spurs, we don't even talk about them, but
he scored a nice goal against them in 1920, the winner. Yeah, it was like the 80th something minute. He just took the ball, smashed it 20 yards.
And he had a good game recently.
Did anyone watch him at Norwich, by the way?
I watched him a bit because my brother's obsessed with
the championship. I remember
the championship. Yeah, so at Norwich he was not as refined, because in the 1920 season when he played centre mid, he definitely improved with Rodgers. He was more raw, but he did play more balls in the hand, I think, at Norwich.
Yeah, he did, but I think he also reminded me a bit of like Cantwell. Like Cantwell sort of. No, I mean. He ran around. He didn't really have that refinement. He wasn't. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So I think since he's come to Leicester, he's developed his game. His understanding of the full game and what's going on in regards to his positioning and how to play with a striker like Vardy. Because I think sometimes Vardy puts a lot of demands on the midfield player that he plays with. The guy who's nicked closest to him.
Yeah.
They need to have a really good understanding. They need to understand which runs he makes. And then the worst thing for Leicester and that's why they've had to sort of adapt their game. Is maybe against the big teams they leave more space for Vardy, but I think against smaller teams they don't. So you have to adapt your game depending on what what kind of teams you're playing.
Vardy's not explosive as he used to be. He's not as quick as he used to be these days.
No, but I think that's a lot to do with how much space teams leave for him now, depending on where.
Yeah.
If it's like this, back in the old days, Leicester, even the lower teams wouldn't respect them, and they would just play a high line, and that played into Vardy's hand because that allowed him to have space to run into. And a player like Maddison, it's easier when you're a midfield player like him, and you're the closest to Vardy to play a ball in where there's space behind for Vardy to run into, as opposed to if there's a deep block, and then you have to be more intricate in your passing. So I think he's developed that side of his game. I think he said in interviews that he's developed how to play as an 8 more, and not just as a 10. So I think, like sometimes when you get a player come into your team, you pick up things from him if he's a positive influence. I think Tielemans had a much better all-rounded game, and I could see Maddison this year picking up traits that helped him to become a much better all-round player, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. He said many times in interviews he loves playing with Tielemans, like sliding in as a number 8, stopping passes. Because he did an interview with Sky Sports saying, I used to be a 10 under Claude Puel, always playing between the lines next to the striker. Brendan said you shouldn't just be a number 10, just playing between the lines. You need to have more about you, especially in the modern game. You don't want to be extinct. So he said, like, now I'm playing as a left 8 now, stopping the passing lane, shutting the lines, getting close. And then play in the half space. So as you said, Nom, he's come up leaps and bounds in the last 2 years.
Definitely. Yeah, I think you need to understand the impact he'll make on our own squad, because I think there might be some guys out there who are worried about Emil Smith-Rowe being pushed out maybe a little bit to the left. For me, I think, if I'm a young Emil Smith-Rowe and I've got this guy who's 3 years ahead of me in terms of his development, and he's good at set pieces, he's good at end product, I would be learning off that guy. I'd be learning how to develop those.
I just think that he's a very good ball striker as well.
He's been that since Aberdeen, because he plays, and the one great thing about him is that he plays with a chip on his shoulder. So you never see him shy away, because he says it. When I was 18 going on loan, I'm telling you, grown men, 27-year-olds, that let me take the free kicks, and they look at him crazy, and he's been doing that from young.
Did you see the Marbella the video?
The free kick he took. He was
brother.
I like that about him. I think he's gone away, and I think that shows a guy who isn't happy with his game, who's willing to learn. I think he's angry that he's not made it. It might be a combination of, people that he's angry with. I honestly hope, for Arsenal's sake, he's angry with Brendan Rodgers, because that'll make our deal easier with Leicester. But just purely on a selfish note, I really do, because I think obviously that. Go on, sorry, bro. You're saying?
Yeah, I was going to say something definitely happened between him and Rodgers, because he just stopped playing from like April, May, and he got dropped for the FA Cup finals. So.
Yes.
Something definitely happened between them two. Something definitely happened.
Yeah, and the fact that he's willing to learn and willing to review his game, because he does say that every game, no matter how good he reviews it with his dad, and they say what he did well, what he did wrong. Is that with a coach such as in-depth as Arteta, they won't clash. I don't think, anyways, with a player who wants to improve and a coach who wants to improve you. I don't think
the only thing that I think he'll find is that he's going to come into an environment where, I mean, I'm sure Leicester are doing the same thing, that professionalism is 100% at all times. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So if he wants to play for England, I don't think he'll make that mistake where he made that error of judgment by, going to that party like he did, because 100% that gave out the wrong impression of him as a player.
And going and like saying you're ill, then going to a casino 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. These are the kind of things that players do. I mean, but I think we're lucky that at Arsenal we just don't have those players that do that stuff.
Like me and Nom remember being in our early 20s. These things,
thanks. I could just about remember being. No, actually, you know what?
I've got the 3 in front as well. Don't worry about it. You're not even 3 anymore, but but like when you're a young guy, sometimes you make silly mistakes, and as long as you accept the consequences for what you do, then fair, it's fine.
I think what it is, though, is Maddison's paid a heavy price for what he's done. And I think if he's going to be angry with himself and he analyses it, yeah, he might be angry with Brendan. But ultimately, he'll be angry with himself because, you know, as I said, when you get to that certain age,
These things aren't acceptable.
you need to know like how to sort of conduct yourself and how that affects your chances. And I think to give Southgate credit, and this is going back to a general football point, he really has looked into the dynamics between the players when trying to select the squad. Now, you know, we can argue about whether he selects the right 11. That's another issue altogether. But in terms of how the squad dynamics and how they all fit in, you can see, I think, that they genuinely actually get on with each other, you know?
All of them. They're so close.
Yeah.
And I think vibes, there'll always be vibes when there's that many good footballers together. Because...
But you know what, CK? We've seen, like, previously that certain England squads had really good players, but there was rivalry between the players and egos between the players and things that stop players from like bonding together to form like an effective team, and it unfortunately showed on the pitch as well. You know, players didn't sacrifice a little bit of their game so they can help the next guy. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They all wanted to impose their game. So I see someone like Bukayo, and he makes me sort of proud to have an England player representing our club like the way he does, because he's genuinely loved by everybody in that squad because he's such a humble kid, you know? He's such a humble, affable guy.
Did Welbeck go to England with Arsenal?
Yes.
In World Cup 2018, In World Cup 2018, he was
flipping out.
Yeah, he played for England as in friendlies, I think. I think he made squads like that. But yeah, he made a tournament when he was at Arsenal. Yeah. He's another guy who's similar in terms of like, everyone likes Welbeck. I don't think there's anyone that dislikes Danny. You know?
Yeah, with Bukayo, you could see that. Even with the rivalry, you see when he first came, that Kane comes up to and says, "No rivalry here, we're brothers," and stuff like that. In the past, that definitely does not happen with those England internationals.
Guys, if you're in here, try it. If you can share the stuff, guys, so we can get more people in. I want to see if we can get people a few more people in. So if you're on Twitter or you're around, just share the link and see what we're doing. So in terms of Maddison, what excites me is the ability of, as I've said on multiple occasions, the ability to play multiple positions. If he's going to play a 10, great, put him as a 10. If you want to drop him back a bit further and you want to play him as an 8, cool. So I want to see what do you guys think?
I think Hassan will jump at any chance to sign him. So,
I would sign him for like 65 million pounds without any hesitation.
Same. Like a player that good with what we need is elite. So I'd sign him as well. Mom, would you sign him?
Sorry, I missed that bit. The connection, my connection just dropped.
Would you sign him? Would you sign him?
Sign who? Sorry.
Maddison.
Yeah, 100%. I think the players that we've been linked with, if we want an instant impact in the Premiership, we get that. And I think what we get is a mixture of qualities that we don't have in any of the other targets that we're looking for. Does that make sense? He's like a mixture of qualities, a number of different 10s that we have been linked with. And I think he's like the perfect blend. He'll be expensive in my opinion, but I think, as I said, it's all worth it if we can balance that out with the purchases that we make in the foreign market, which will be cheaper. So that's how I equalize everything.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the Belgian league. What do you man make of Lokonga?
To be honest, I haven't seen much of him. Just one match comp of him versus Standard Liège with Zettergol. Follow my friend Zettergol at Zettergol. Cheeky plug. But that's the only complication I've seen of him against Standard Liège, and he played quite well. Like he was winning some duels. He made a few line breaking passes. He did well, but that's all I got from him. But overall, I see a nice midfielder in him. Maybe with some Arteta coaching, he could be really, really good. That's all I can see.
Yeah, I just seen on the comps, you can see he's a very good passer and stuff.
Yeah.
He's a very good passer. He likes his long shots. But I don't think not many people have even seen him or Zetagos, I think. I don't think many people have really seen him like in many games, so
One
you
thing
can't
that's very
fully judge.
interesting, though, one thing that's very interesting, but he can actually cover the pitch when he's running. Honestly, is actually really interesting because I feel like a lot of our midfielders that we had in Xhaka, even Elneny, I mean, they couldn't, cover the distance on the pitch. Especially, when you used to look at games at the Emirates, you could see that those players were suffering. But when they were playing smaller, narrow pitches against like West Brom, it was much easier for players like
Ceballos.
and Ceballos as well. So honestly, I think Lokonga would be just great in just terms of legs. I don't know more
Quality.
about quality, but just purely because of his athleticism, man. Bring him in. We need all the athleticism we need.
Yeah, definitely. We lacked a lot of athleticism throughout the team because there's players like Ceballos who, when he came in, he was just a problem for me anyways. Like I never wanted him to play at all. So with Lokonga coming in, it's just an extra body. I don't think anyone can determine how good he'll be or how bad he'll be, but it just looks like he'll be an extra body in there.
What's interesting, CK, is if you take his habits, people said some people have mentioned that he's a bit like Thomas. I saw a pass map where he receives the ball and where he passes the ball. He seems to have very similar sort of areas that he looks for switches of play to, very similar to what Thomas does. So I think that's interesting because I think that's where his game is at the moment. I'm not saying he's as good as Thomas Partey, by the way. I'm just saying that he has very similar sort of habits in terms of how he passes and receives the ball. But for me, what I think is you need a player who can play with you need players that come in can play with multiple midfield partners. I think what we struggled before, and this has happened even under Arsene and Emery, is that we struggled to form midfield pairings with the, let's say, 3-4 midfielders that we had. Only certain combinations would work, and that would mean that we would be limited in terms of our effectiveness with those midfield partners. So whichever partners we get together now, let's say we've got 4 central midfielders, we should be able to pick any 2 of those and not have a drop in quality, because that's the only way you can sort of get through a season and sort of dominate the kit. In my opinion, the most crucial part of the pitch is the midfield.
Yeah,
Another thing that was interesting is just looking at Lokonga on compilations. He looks like a leader on the pitch. Again, if we're replacing someone like Xhaka, you need to bring in more leaders on the pitch as well. So we can see a trend with the players that we're signing under Arteta and Gabriel.
So hold on, are you saying, Z, that when Xhaka leaves, he's got to leave the door keys behind to Lokonga?
My door keys thing! It was he's a leader because his parents gave him a door key.
Yeah, I know. It still makes me laugh, man. That's still the funniest thing I've ever heard.
I think they're denying that he's a very good person, character in the dressing room.
He is. Now, you know what it is? I think with Granit, I actually respect his, his skill set, but I also understand that he has limitations, right? So I don't ever deny people who dislike, or are frustrated by him. Sorry, not dislike him. I don't understand why people would dislike him as a person, because I don't think I have seen anything in there that makes him. He could be stupid, but I think in terms of doing certain things on the pitch, but then there's lots of other players who do similar things, right?
Of course.
I think a lot of fans have had a grudge since when he started fans.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, the truth is with him, even though he's not a bad leader, he's not the same quality of leader that we've had in previous years, and I think that's where maybe he doesn't realise, and that's probably where our fans can't see him as the kind of leader that we'd like in our club. Like, I think Kieran is more nearer to the kind of leadership style that we've had in previous years than Granit.
You need more qualities than these other European countries. I think he'd be perfect as a leader in Germany or Italy, but for in England, people can just see through him, man. Honestly, you can see. It's like sometimes he puts on a facade, really. But
I just think he doesn't think. I think he thinks he's better than what we think he is. That's why I just think he is. Honestly.
Well, he's talented. Let's just say that, but he's not. He doesn't have enough skill sets to play in week in and week out in the Premier League, and that's just facts, really.
Yeah.
I just don't think he has the athleticism to play for a top 6 club, especially in that position where everyone presses you. and his peripheral vision is not the best because he plays like he's got tunnel vision at times. You can't see what's behind him or what's on the side, and he's really heavy-footed as well. Like he can only play with his left foot, and it takes ages for him to release that pass. And especially the strikers or the centre mid can just press him quickly.
This is the thing, Hassan. I think this is where he fails as a leader, right? I'll give you the example. I think you've helped me trigger a memory. Lots of times when we're doing the build-up play, he's one of our worst build-up midfielders, right? In terms of when he's got his back to his back, when he's got his back facing the opposition goal and he's facing our own goal. Because he's so heavy-footed, it keeps on insisting wanting to get involved in the play. It's not the same as when you're facing the opposition goal and you're going forward. Yeah, exactly. So, and you got time on the ball, but he kept on like insisting that they play the ball to him. And I used to think, look, man, if I'm anyone else on that team, I would be saying to Granit, listen, you wait for the ball to come to you and you're facing the opposition's goal. Let someone else who's actually good at doing that get there. And the funny thing is, I know we say he's limited as a player, but Mohamed El Neni is not bad actually at doing that. He's not bad at receiving the ball and just playing a very simple pass first time.
Because he knows his limitations, I think.
Yeah, this is the thing.
That's the difference between them.
And this is the thing. Like, this is the decision making that really makes the difference in a real leader on the pitch. You should know your own limitations and not get involved in something that you might jeopardize the team with, right?
For me, we're talking about leadership. There's a few things that Granit lacks. So, in terms of shouting and getting across the ball, fine, great. Have a shout. Get players to go in their positions, fine. But leadership is about leading via example. And the first thing that I go on is discipline. I still feel that the two mistakes against Burnley cost us top 4. I don't care what anyone says.
Both games,
We were. How many points were we off top 4? Like 8.
We were 6 points.
6 points. And so he cost us 3 points against Burnley because at home. Because I'm sure if we had 11 against 11 game, we would have won that game. That's 3 points, and he cost us 2 points away with that stupid mistake he made in the build up where he just kicked it at Wood.
Yeah.
So that's 5 points.
That's 5 points, and that's just him by himself.
Yeah. And we're not even taking into account Wolves tax, what happened at Molineux with the referee, with Craig Pawson.
The David Luiz knee. We can go on and on.
But I do think after that first Burnley game, Xhaka was very good. He was.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he had a bad season. I don't think he had a bad season. I think he's improved under Arteta for sure. And I don't care. Come at me on Twitter if you really feel like it's an issue.
I don't think anyone can deny it.
Karen, you don't want to invite people to come at you.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's all right, man.
I'm a big boy. I'm sure I can handle the Xhaka stance. If you want to come for me, go for it. But the point is that if you're talking about a leader does by example. And for someone with his ball striking ability and his ability in terms of passing range, I think he should have contributed more. I think.
I know where you're coming from, Karen. End product. He hasn't really contributed enough assists or set pieces or goals.
It's not even assists for me. It's the fact is it's assists. It's key passes. It's the ability to stay on the damn pitch. Stay on the pitch, man. I'm just saying. Don't get red carded. It's his inability to hold back and say, look, I don't need to go to ground, or I don't need to make this tackle right now.
He won't. That's in him. That won't go. That passing, that's not a leader. Will never leave.
That's not a leader. If you're a leader, you show other people. You show by example on that pitch how your team is.
The fair tackling thing. I think that's just a physical limitation of his. So we can't change it. So. And that's the difference between players like Xhaka and Elneny, because I think a player like Elneny you may always need in the squad, Elneny and Mari, because they know their limits and they rarely push their boundaries. So with a player like Elneny, you can give him 5-10 games in a season, and I don't think he'd cause an issue. Or like Mari, you'd give him 10 games in the season and he wouldn't cause an issue. But there's players like Xhaka, if you dare do that, there'll be problems in the changing.
I think Elneny has improved more than Xhaka has improved for Arsenal. That's how.
Under Arteta or in general?
Yeah, under Arteta. But to be fair, I've seen more forward passes from El Neni than I've seen him under Wenger or Unai Emery. So I mean, that's an improvement. We've seen more goals from El Neni too, and we've seen more like much better performances in certain games, especially that United game as well. So we have seen a definite improvement. Still, he's not the quality to be a starter, but he's good to have in and around the pitch, really. Honestly.
Definitely. And he's always happy. He always seems to be happy around the pitch and happy with the squad. So players like that you always need in the squad, to be honest.
Mm.
What other big links do we have?
Onana, I suppose we can talk.
Oh,
But that's gone quiet for a while, because I said
Yeah.
yesterday his situation is just going to be like in inertia until we sort out what's going to happen with Leno, because he's making it quite awkward. Like he's not going to sign a contract yet. He's just happy to stay there, and he's not got a market for him. So it's just going to be really awkward until we
most
sort
teams
out.
have keepers. Most
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah, like we have to hope that a Bundesliga club or someone like Napoli will come in for him.
Yeah, man, we need Napoli to come in trumps for us.
Anybody can take Lennon for me, like anybody.
So you're telling me
TK's giving them away.
You would prefer Leno to go to Tottenham to stay with us?
I don't care about Tottenham. Leno and Lloris will fight out, and they both have bad deficiencies. So you can go to Tottenham.
Yeah, I generally thought Tottenham fans actually wanting Leno. I saw on Twitter.
No,
Yeah, I saw yesterday. I saw yesterday as well.
Link it. There's no way.
Generally, they can take him because what Leno does to build up kills. It literally kills us at times.
That West Ham away game, man.
He just kept kicking it long. Like he kept kicking it
and
long.
The thing is, like, we didn't stand a chance against them if we kept doing that, because like they've got 6'3" monsters that live
in
for
their
that.
backs, in their whole back six. Everyone is massive. So when you keep
and we have the first 5'9" Lacazette, we didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, or 5'10" Saka. Like you're wasting time. Like why kick it? Or like you're kicking it long to our forwards when Pepe and Martinelli, our only forwards who are very good in the air, aren't on the pitch. So why keep kicking it long? And they kept asking Arteta after that game and games before that and games after that, why do you guys keep kicking it long? And he made it clear that would never be his instruction. And from that point, I knew he had I thought that he can see Leno's deficiencies, which made me happy.
I think he had a crisis of confidence there as well, though, because I think can't imagine in the back, in the background at the club that coaches and the manager wouldn't be telling him that they weren't happy with those kind of performances, with his distribution. I just can't imagine that not happening. Right? Obviously, there's one thing that managers can say and coaches can say in front of the camera, but there'll be discussion behind the scenes. I mean, I saw nervousness in his game towards the end of the season, where he was hesitant, and then he sort of managed to rein himself back in at one point, and sort of not get his game back, but to be more smarter in terms of how he decided to kick long and when he decided to do it. But there was a period of time where he was just so erratic. I think I'll tell you what helped. I think the fact that Matt Ryan came in and played a few games actually helped, because I think that made him
end of the season.
Yeah. So I know it sounds weird because people were saying, well, hold on, why are we playing our reserve goalkeeper for, man? I thought he was just here for for effects. But I think that was a smart move, because I think that was almost like a trigger switch for Leno. I think Leno and a lot of German keepers, this going back to Lehmann, were like supreme competitors. They were never going to be at their best unless they got someone really pushing them in the background. And I think that's the problem with Leno. I think at the first half of the season, nobody was really pushing him. So obviously he
also training with the training coaches as well. I mean, as I've heard as well, he likes training by himself, and he has his own coaches as well. So there's that. So there's a lot by himself as well. So you know what, he should be on his way out, man. I don't understand why we need to look for a club for him. He needs to go call every single club in Europe and just find
it. Okay, can you pass the numbers to him, man, please? Find the.
What I don't like about Leno
is clubs in Germany and
Spain. What I really don't like about Leno is that I don't think he takes responsibility ever. So you see him do stuff and he just waves his arms and all that nonsense. Like, if you're gonna do something, at least own it. And and he
I
never
think
does.
I think that's the problem with like the core of the older players in our team, like Leno, Xhaka, even Luis at times, Aubameyang. Like they just shirk from responsibility and they just let all the young kids do it. And like even Aubameyang, like even when we lose, like as our captain, he never does
Saka
post
takes
match
the
interviews.
interviews. Yes,
He gets Saka and Willock to do it. I'm like they're kids.
Oh
That
no.
just shows the strength of our academy because
Mm.
we talked about this last week. I think with our academy players now, they take interviews. In the past, that would never happen, and they do well in interviews because
They get trained, CK. They get trained from a young age how to do, to talk to media, and they get trained to, represent the club. They understand the values better than any of the players that we bring into the club.
I want to ask CK something. I want to ask him something. All right.
me.
So say we keep Leno. I know you don't want it. We know you don't want it. Say we keep Leno, yeah, and he wins the Golden Glove this year.
He's done.
What happens?
What do you mean? What happens? He leaves.
No. That's what I'm saying. Do you still want him at the club if he wins the Golden Glove?
CK's not even considering it.
I don't change anything because when a keeper decreases in clean sheets, I guarantee you the whole defense and the whole team improves. So it's not just the keeper that gets the clean sheets. That's why when you see a clean sheet happen, the whole defense and keeper is celebrating because it's not just the keeper themselves. So if Leno does get that, kudos to him. He got an award, but he can piss off that award.
How much cool guys do you like kind of stats? Oh, honestly. Even
I can't believe we're talking about Leno like he's Kappa.
No, yeah, CK. He's not. Listen, I get it. You don't like him, but
I don't.
I'm not gonna. For me, I understand. Like, it's the old adage when our team's not that good, someone like Leno looks like a really decent player and has played consistently better than other players, right? So we can give him that, right? We can give him that. But the truth is, it's a bit like the Joe Hart situation when Pep turned up to Man City. Joe Hart at Man City was an excellent goalkeeper for a number of seasons, but then when Pep came in, he wanted to play differently, and Joe couldn't adapt. Do you know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna answer this. It's not that I'm gonna answer this. We're gonna come back to this, but I want to answer this comment. Yeah.
He failed me.
No, Turkey failed you. I don't think Yilmaz failed you. I think Turkey failed you.
Turkey
they didn't surround him with any pace. It was a very laggy.
To be fair, CK. To be fair, Corin, like Yilmaz for a 35-year-old, he's quite rapid.
He is.
He's quicker. He's probably quicker than Giroud.
Nah, he's a lot quicker. He's like Diego Costa if he lived a clean lifestyle.
Oh my days.
Because Diego Costa, he liked to drink, and he lived life on the edge. But like Burak, even though he's no saint, but the guy he lives well. 35 years old, winning the league.
You don't lose pace; you just lose the acceleration when you age. Do you remember when Thierry Henry came to Arsenal back? What was it, in 2012, right?
Yeah.
He had a race with Chamberlain, and Thierry Henry still beat him. You don't lose pace; you just lose that acceleration when you age, and that's it, really.
With Yilmaz, it was like my take. Yeah, I didn't fully believe in myself. I've said that. I'm gonna own it. Yeah, I was wrong. But with Yilmaz, at the end of this, if you watch Lille, the last half of the season, he was scoring some really important goals. Really important goals. Like he saved Lille at the end to win it all. And Turkey as a whole didn't do well anyways. And quickly on Leno, I do dislike the guy, but he's a very, very good shot stopper. But he has mistakes in him, and he doesn't own stuff, and he's not confident, and he's not good on it.
For me, he's just very dislikable. Honestly, I just look at his face, I want to punch him.
I'm gonna off that comment.
But you guys, you and CK, man.
That is incredible.
Off that comment, I'm gonna say this. Yeah, thank you, guys. 25 live concurrent viewers. Thank you very much. Please hit that like button. Subscribe if you like it.
Yes.
But I want to move on to. What should we talk about? Should we talk about England? I haven't talked about England yet.
No, man, I've got a burning question. Let's
burning question.
Because I think it's the thing that we haven't discussed. Like when we talked about transfers, we talked about Maddison, and we talked about who'd like right back, and we even talked about profiles. Who is that partner for midfield? Who is that number one midfield target? Because I still haven't got an answer. I'm still baffled as I was day one.
No, I think it's going to become clear once Xhaka leaves.
Yeah.
You reckon? So
yeah.
So is it like a mystery, or is it going to be?
I don't think they can reveal all the links can come out. It's the same thing as right back for me, because there's so many of them there that are willing to leave that you have to wait for at least one to go, and then you'll see the links. Because with right back it's the same. So I think once Xhaka or Guendouzi leaves,
I think it's almost guaranteed that probably one of the midfielders that we're looking at is probably a player that's playing right now in the Euros. Otherwise, we would have at least intensified at least some of the discussions the same way we've done for Lokonga.
Is that an insinuation that is Ronaldo Sanchez?
I'm not. I don't think so. I don't know.
DK doesn't care. DK does not care. He's just like, give me a name.
I'm just saying those are the links today, innit? Because
Locatelli, honestly, I'm just thinking Locatelli. But again, we could Renato Sanchez is a good shout. He could be part of a yearly spree from Lille. So you never know.
He's the wrong guy.
Do we think we're going to sign like a Arshavin 08 type signing or something that's going to be someone that just was insane at the Euros?
Keep him in the freezing cold and sign him in the last minute.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
He comes out of the hotel in Bournemouth in the snow.
Do you guys remember that transfer? It was a madness.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was snowing. It was snowing. It was like a.
Nobody knew if it was going to go through. Nobody knew if it was going to go through at the end. Supposedly, they had to smuggle Arshavin out of the country.
Yeah.
The backstory to that was that Arshavin had to be smuggled out of the back country because the KGB got involved to try to stop him from leaving the country.
What?
I'm not even joking. If you guys not read the backstory to that.
I still remember I was like a young boy just watching Sky Sports News for the whole day. I didn't even let my parents watch the news. I just wanted to know if Arshavin signed for us.
What do you guys think the funniest in terms of Arsenal transfer has been? Like, what do you think?
Gabriel was up there. What Arsenal fans were doing on Twitter for weeks was crazy.
It's the Joe Cole to Arsenal one, bro. Because one time,
oh my god, I forgot about that.
That was right. One of basically, we used to go to this when I was younger. I used to go to this Tottenham program, right? And this guy told me that Joe Cole told his uncle that he's joining Arsenal. This is very young. I called every newspaper outlet. I was like, hey, by the way, Joe Cole's joining Arsenal. I need money. Give me £50 for the news, right?
Wait, you started it.
I was so adamant that it's gonna happen because this boy in my Tottenham program told me that he's joining. So I told everyone, and then weeks later, I'm seeing he's joining Roy Hodgson, and his first game is going to be against Arsenal. Bro, I didn't get my £50 from the Sun, and nor did the transfer happen. And I think after that, man, I was scarred. I couldn't look at Joe Cole the same way. Honestly.
You're lucky he was crap at Liverpool. And he got a red card against Arsenal.
Bad.
Well, look, on that same season, it was Nuri Sahin as well, you know? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the Nuri Sahin one where we literally had him we had him. Didn't he come and do the medicals and everything else? But then something fell.
And then they didn't want to pay that. I don't know if they didn't want to pay or he failed his medical. One of them. Something happened.
Yeah, and Liverpool was so gassed about it, man. They took him, and then he hardly played for Liverpool.
Yeah, then he went back to Dortmund.
I think he's straight.
They're winding Arsenal supporters up about it all like summer, and then when he actually had an opportunity to play for them, he was rubbish. So he never really made that many games for them that year. So I just thought, okay, that was funny. I'll tell you which one was interesting for me. Do you remember when Patrick Vieira was about to leave, and we had Michael Carrick lined up? Yeah, Michael Carrick was lined up, man, and from West Ham.
Oh, he was. I thought he was at Spurs.
No, this is at West Ham. So Michael Carrick was lined up to replace Patrick Vieira, but that was the year that he changed his mind, and he stayed. So last second, he had a change of heart, and he stayed. I think this is when he was going to go to Real Madrid, and the player that we'd lined up at the time was Michael Carrick to replace him. And so that transfer never happened, right? So There you go, man.
Him and-
And to be honest, it was stupid because I think they should just let him go because in that year his heart wasn't really kind of in it. And the next year, I heard that Arsenal actually pushed him out of the club. Realizing that that Fabregas was making the step up, but we lost the opportunity to then sign Carrick.
Mm.
So
We got to the Champions League final the year he left, though.
sorry.
We got
Yeah,
to
we did, but we wouldn't listen. Do you remember that game though? We were literally getting hammered by Man United. We lost. We won on penalties, man. That was a crazy final.
Yeah,
I've never seen us so
Every
beat.
year on the way to the final.
Sorry?
Reyes got odd.
For me, it was the Jan and Via saga. Has to be. Come on now.
There's been
The
too
lads-
many sagas for Arsenal, man.
No, that Jan and Via saga has got to be top tier.
Higuain,
Wasn't he like lost in the change in
Benzema.
the medical room or something? He was like locked in a room or something like that.
Norm, do you remember Ben Fairthorne?
Who? Sorry.
Ben Fairthorne, the guy that
Yeah, I
said,
remember him. Oh god, yeah, the fake ITK. Yeah, I remember.
"God,
Yeah.
and honestly, there's been
He
so
got
many."
hammered. He got hammered. That guy.
There was another guy that was it Steve Woods. He said, "Oh, Benzema's going to sign for Arsenal," and then his last Arsenal was, "Oh, Steve has died."
What?
Yeah.
I'll tell
Remember
you who
Jackson
was-
Martinez? Jackson Martinez, remember?
Oh,
And then
yeah.
like he's 28 till he's 29.
Oh, that was George Blackburn George, wasn't it? The guy he started having an argument. It was one of the most classic arguments on Twitter, man. Like they were arguing about how old the guy was. Was he 27 or 28? And he said, "Well, he's 27 until he becomes 28." That was funny. I think the other one that made me the Trabelsi signing. I think at the time Lauren had finished his career, and we were linked with Trabelsi. And then we played Ajax, and I remember Thierry Henry just literally toying with that guy, that. And I was just thinking to myself, maybe Trabelsi isn't as good as people think he is, So I think I was so glad that transfer didn't happen eventually. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know?
That's a bad way to measure a player. Or Thierry Henry toyed with him.
No, I mean like really badly, CK. Humiliated the guy. Right. So to the point, I mean, I would give up professional football if the way that guy got humiliated, in that game.
Nom, I've got a trivia fact for you. Do you know, like in Pro Evolution Soccer Konami, they were so convinced that Hatem Trabelsi was signing for Arsenal, they put him in Pro Evolution Soccer 4.
No, bro, they didn't, did they? What?
They did. I remember because I played whenever I played with Arsenal, he was the first choice right back.
Yeah. You know what? He seemed to be like the profile that. This is the thing, guys. Like earlier on today, someone on Twitter asked me. I know I'm like now known as the old guy, but someone asked me what was the reaction? What was the reaction when Mustafi signed for Arsenal? I said, you know what? To be honest, most of the fan base is just relieved that we got a central defender in. But I said I do remember a whole group of us fans were hoping that we would pay a little bit more and get Jimenez from Atletico Madrid. And I said the one thing is, whoever made that signing for us should have checked the stupid gene on this player, because obviously he had all the attributes to be a decent defender, but apart from the one thing that he, that goes against him as a professional football player, the stupid decisions that he makes, in a game. So, as I said,
name Gary Neville. First, he was like, "Oh, he's not a good defender." Then after like a few good performances, he's like, "Yeah, I managed him. Yeah, he was pretty good." Blah blah blah.
It shows how good rubbish Gary Neville is as a manager, man.
Around him was mad because we went on that unbeaten run, but to be fair, from that first game, you could see like the deficiencies that he had. Like we got lucky in those unbeaten games. Honestly, I don't know how he got away with that.
We should have lost to Spurs. Spurs in the 1-1 game. We got absolutely destroyed in that game. Heung-min Son absolutely destroyed Mustafi. I still remember that day. But PSG, we should have lost. Man United, we should have lost. We were awful. We had like 3 big games in a row, and
PSG Cavani was.
Cavani.
Oh,
he had like 5 clear-cut chances at the Emirates.
Cavani was horrific.
Yeah, that was a mad one.
And we scored the most. They scored the most funniest own goal. I remember, we put a cross in, and then it just deflected onto Verratti, and it went in.
Yeah. Let's get back to Champions League, man. Champions League nights were too fun.
For me, if we're talking Champions League nights,
Apart from Bayern, obviously.
Like if we're talking funny ones, like I was lucky, you can put in quotation marks, to go to Milan when we had Henri for the second time, to the Milan game where we got
We
absolutely
lost. We lost 4-1, didn't we?
4-0.
4-0. Sorry.
We got
Oh,
absolutely trounced. Kevin Prince Boateng actually just took it to the cleaners that
And that-
game.
yeah, he smashed
Yeah.
one. He smashed one
And,
into the box.
yeah.
Fake
I'm
Rubinho.
telling you, the San Siro. I will say this to whenever. It's one of the worst viewing experiences. Like as
It's
an,
because
as a
it's
fan,
so wide. Because the
Yeah.
place is so wide.
it's not just it's wide. You're so high up, and there's the nets.
And there's
then,
part, if you're so high up, that there's a massive board that you can barely see the pitch.
yeah, it's mad.
And the pitch for that day was terrible. I remember there was like strips of it was like brown.
What do you guys think of these
Bro,
rules?
we made that a fake Rubinho guy look so good. What's his name? Emmanuel Wilson, or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that guy ended up playing in the lower leagues after a couple of seasons.
Oh, this comment is it, man.
What do you guys
comment
think
is
of
it.
Do you guys remember Wellington?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this
That
comment,
guy-
comment is it. Do you remember this summer?
Yes. Julio
Oh
said,
my god.
"Oh, Rooney."
There was
Oh.
there was a tweet. This guy, he said, like, I just been told by Abu Dhabi in the mosque we signed Julio Cesar, Dembaba, and Higuain. He confirmed it to me in the mosque. Do you remember? Do you remember?
I mean, I wasn't on Twitter, but that sounds hilarious, man.
I don't know if you remember because I
No,
saw it.
I remember that, man. And the guy was, you know what, this brother, like, even people are asking what mosque he went to, and you know what was the, you know, they started questioning him, and he started getting a bit nervous about it. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, oh, come on, guys, man, why would you go? Why would you go and start a conversation in the mosque of all places with Derby, and then the first thing you ask him is, bro, who are we signing, man? Give us the transfer targets for this summer. Do you know what I mean? All right, so it was just insane. You know,
Derby without an injury would have been, I think, Yaya Toure.
Listen, man, you go and ask anyone who was around the French national team at the time. They had such high hopes for Diaby. They were really disappointed when, you know, he couldn't reach his potential.
They took him to the World Cup in 2010.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest compliment they had him.
You know what?
The biggest compliment that I think I read from the French perspective was that they had him as the successor to Patrick Vieira.
You know what? Like, after what happened with David Luiz with me before, I see a Romano tweet in one of the chats.
Hakimi,
yeah, Hakimi. Here we
go. He said Hakimi. Here we go. We had a here we go from that guy a month ago, and it still hasn't happened. And on non-football midfielders, mine is my number one. I think is obvious is Sumari, and the 25th of May. The 25th of May, two guys, well, not two guys, but two credible sources confirmed it with Fabrizio and Sport Witness, I think they're called.
How did they go from not even wanting to pay a fee for what's his name, Hector Bellerin? Then the following season they end up paying like what 70 million for Hakimi and
300k a week.
Come on, man. Come on,
just 4 cup 70 for Bellerin. Come on, man. You know you.
I think the reason why they can do this though, Z, is that FFP's been relaxed more or less across the board, so they're going to sneak away some weird sponsorship deal that they've suddenly made with themselves to find 80 million euros to buy.
The other thing is the oil clubs or if you want to call Chelsea gas clubs with the natural gas clubs that these guys have, is they are very, very. They're very good at hiding how they spend. They're very, very good at it. And
they're good at cooking the books.
I mean,
didn't Chelsea get transfer ban for it?
Yeah. That wasn't really for FFP. That was loan. That was that was
massive. That was having too many. I think it was a problem of ages of loaning players and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. But Chelsea in themselves are they just won a Champions League and they can't even attract their biggest targets. So, and
this is the other thing we need to talk about. I feel like a lot of the biggest targets from a lot of clubs in England right now. I don't know what these directors of football are thinking. Like especially with Chelsea. Like you do not need Haaland. I'm not saying
Chelsea's been the same for
current. To be honest, They do. They can't score more than one goal.
No, but that's not just because of their strikers. They have a.
But they do need one. Like for me, even if they need someone.
They need a centre back more than they need a striker.
Haaland's the biggest name that you can get where even if you don't get other things, the excuse can be we just spent 170 on Haaland. So Haaland's I'd rather spend 60 on Isak, put it that way.
But to be honest, I think if you spend 60 million on Isak and the Chelsea fans, because they're gonna get onto him because Isak, as good as he is, he does miss a lot of chances.
Same, yeah, he does.
But our fans, I think, would be a little bit more patient with him. Because we appreciate like players that bring like the other players into the game, that can link up, that can stretch the game. We'd appreciate him a lot more. But at Chelsea, they'd call him a donkey and shit.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Hats, because I think we play with the way that we played last year. Isak would be an upgrade athletically on Lacazette. He could do all the things that Lacazette can do, but he's more athletic. Therefore, he can actually join the attack without looking like he's running.
If anything, I've always
like running a marathon to get into the box.
If anything, I've always thought ESR with a bigger striker would be really good for him because he'd be able to shoot a lot more.
Definitely.
That's just my feeling because I think once he fills out, the guy's going to be just as good as a ball striker as Maddison, if not better. Because the way I've seen that guy strike the ball, sometimes, even with his passing.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring this back up here.
Oh yeah, like
appreciate you, brother.
Who did we just say? I just forgot Isak. Yeah, with Chelsea, I think no matter how much money they have, I think players always have a problem. This is my thinking, but players always have a problem with like going to Chelsea as a big money signing because of the instability of the club. Because yes, Chelsea have been winning for the past 20 years or so, but they chop and change managers and players so much so that your future's never guaranteed at a club like Chelsea. Like, look at Bakayoko, for example.
CK, tell me something. I mean, that's interesting. We're talking about Chelsea. When was the last big signing that they made that was like a huge hit for them?
Havertz.
Oh, he's only
hasn't been a huge hit yet. He hasn't been a huge hit yet.
Go back. Forget any of the players now. I'm talking about previously.
Oh,
who was the last big signing?
Costa?
Hazard? Costa?
Hazard, probably.
Hazard, yeah.
Costa, I'd say Costa was up there.
Or Luis. Hazard, Luis, Costa, them guys. But Hazard was
what about Fabregas as well?
I don't know if Fabregas.
He wasn't big money. Like Hazard.
Yeah. I'm talking about big money. I think, like, you know, when I think you think back and you look at Shevchenko, Torres, all those players who came in and.
To be honest, they only spent what, 30 million on Hazard in 2012.
Yeah,
and he was up and coming.
That was 30 million at that time was big money. It was like probably worth 60 million today.
Yeah. So
like the prices we see in the early 2010s, we forget how quickly inflation has hit this transfer.
Not even just from the 2010s. What about like this 2017? Like,
because Neymar. Because of Neymar
is different to 93 mil now.
Yeah.
Neymar broke the market. Basically, he actually broke the market in such a biblical way. It's actually unreal.
Then the next time they do Mbappe, which was crazy.
I don't think we'll see another. I can't see another £200 million sort of transfer for a while now.
Anytime, probably because COVID hit the other clubs in other countries too much for them to fork out 200 again.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
even PSG.
If Mbappe doesn't extend, he'll go. He might
be 100.
Nah,
I don't think go for 200 though.
He can't go for 200 with only a year left.
Comment on Mbappe. Do you know what I think he's going to do? I think he's just going to keep playing PSG along, saying, "Yeah, I might sign, and then he won't renew and he'll go on a free." That's what I think he's going to do, and he's probably
be.
He'll probably get 30 million euros signing the contract alone.
Yeah, the other thing, Hassan, PSG won't even let him go, even if he's got 1 year left on his contract and he wants to go. Do you understand?
Do you know what I think? What I think PSG will do? I don't think they'll sell him out of principle. because I think
Yeah.
it will hurt Nasser Al-Khelaifi because he's an Arab man. You know, he has too much pride. He'll probably say, "I'd rather let Mbappe go on a free than get 50 million, 50, 60, 70 million from Madrid."
And there's no replacement they come by.
Yeah, because this is a generational player we're talking about. Mbappe is
Crazy
This is-
outlet.
You know, when we're talking about transfer fees, you know, like big transfer fees. This is why I like that. By the way, I'm a massive Yao Felix fan, right? But I just never understood why they paid 120 million euros, man. That was like
7-year contract.
Us. That would have been us if we bought Thomas Lamar, man.
92 mil.
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
I'm glad we messed up
Oh
on
my
that one,
God.
man. I really am.
Wenger, 92 mil on the last day. That was crazy.
And my lord, I think we would have caught more strays than we do now for Pepe.
Pepe.
100%.
That's even worse because at least Pepe can he could win you
That's
a match
20 mil
every
more.
now and then.
Yeah, he
And-
scores goals at least. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. At least Pepe could win you a match with the action with
Lamar would never have stands. He would never
Yeah.
have the.
you know the offside goal Pepe scored at Wembley against Chelsea. Do you think Lamar can do that? Can Lamar do that?
On that one season, actually, funny enough, Hassan, the season that everyone got seduced by Monaco, he was doing things like that. But I mean, I don't think
What about
he
Malcolm?
can.
When we heavily linked to Malcolm?
Yeah,
in Jan 2018.
Barca ruined him though, man. Barca ruined him.
He was meant to go to Roma. He was meant to go to Roma. They had the plane, everything ready for him. Then Barca just they hijacked the transfer.
His agent did the dirty on him. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember.
He literally redirected. It's almost as bad as the time when we bought Petit, right? Did you guys know the backstory to that? Petit had gone to Tottenham.
Yeah,
and then
Alan Sugar paid for his taxi to us and went
Yeah, Alan Sugar paid for his taxi to go to London Colney. That made me laugh so much, man. You know?
Daniel. Hello, Daniel.
What's up, bro?
Hello, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Dan, you're a big Maddison fan. I see you got your profile picture all sorted, bro.
Yeah, no, it's the dream player. I'm trying to speak into existence.
Into existence.
Yeah.
Oh, there's someone else who is not even just his dream player, it's his dream man.
I don't swing that way, bro.
Hassan loves Maddison. He's a quality player. I think everyone would take him, to be honest. We did speak about him earlier.
Oh, love Maddison. I know some people like Grealish, but I always say, like, if you gave me a choice, I know very controversially I'd pick Maddison. I just feel like we have that Grealish type player in ESR. He can develop into that role, and we don't have that type in Maddison. So I've always loved the Maddison anyway from Norwich days. So I've been watching him for that long. So me seeing him linked to Arsenal and Arsenal like trying to, hopefully trying to get this deal done is a dream for me. If they can get over the line, I'll be over the moon. Better than Awar.
How do you see his progression from Norwich to Leicester to what we need to bring to us?
Sorry, I didn't hear your question. Can you
I
say
said how do you see his progression from Norwich to Leicester to us? How do you think he's improving? What do you think he'll bring?
The thing is, at Norwich, he was more of a player that was the type of player that would score goals at Norwich. He'd love to score goals, but he didn't have much assists in his game. I think when he went to Leicester, he became a more all-round player, and he became more complete. So him going to Arsenal is just he wants to probably challenge himself. That we'll see the best version of him, even better than he is now, which I think he's almost complete, almost the best version of himself he is in now. So I think him joining to Arsenal, he will add dynamism to his game.
And do you see him as a 10 or an 8 or a hybrid? How do you see him progressing?
The thing is about Maddison, he can I see him as a 10, but he can play as Arteta's system as an inverted, how do I describe it? Inverted winger. Creative winger, not inverted winger, creative winger. He can do that role, as in cut inside and shoot.
What are you saying, Brad? What you saying, Brad? What you saying, Gunner King, bro? How you doing? How you doing, lads? How we
All
doing?
good, man. All good. Good to be on, man.
You're right.
Yeah. Seems I joined at the right time, man.
Yeah. What you saying with this Maddison stuff? How you feeling?
Yeah, I mean that's the sort of signing I want to see us make. I think it raises the profile of the players around him. I think what I like is the fact that I love ESR, I love Saka, and I love Martinelli, but I'm a firm believer that young players need guidance, not just from coaching. They need it from players on the pitch to look up to and kind of emulate. You know, you always look at great teams. You have the youngsters coming through. When Messi came through, Ronaldinho was on the pitch, and he was the guy to be, you know, for Messi. And then eventually he got on the pitch with him. And then eventually he garnered Ronaldinho's respect. And then eventually he saw himself as Ronaldinho's equal. And then Ronaldinho kind of left, you know, like, and created that pathway for him to the first team and kind of gave him that extra motivation and that edge to be better in training every day, week in, week out. So that's what I look at, you know, with Maddison. I look at him having that potential with his age. He's like 26 now, I think. So, yeah, I think with all the others, you know, sort of being between sort of their early 20s and 19, I think in Saka's case, a great signing for those guys as well.
Yo, Chris, what's happening, bro? It's good to see you.
Yeah, man. All good, man. All good. Yeah, it's good to see you as well, man.
I was going to say the other thing, I mean, I agree 100% with what Chris said there, by the way. I think what it is sometimes, you know, you bring players in there who are either about to reach that what I call the next level, and then the players sort of see how they go through that journey. I mean, one of the things that I think when they interviewed Maddison is they asked him, is there any players that he's looking at in the Premiership that he likes, young, up and coming? And I remember him specifically saying that he liked this Saka kid, right? I mean, it's interesting now. It's ironic that obviously he's not made the England squad and Saka has, but I think him being around the youngsters rub off. I think they did last year on the more experienced players. You know what I mean? So I think it works, you know, both ways. But I think our young players, you're right, 100%, Chris. They need guidance. It's so much harder to buy the right experienced player to sort of help come and guide those players. I think we saw that with Willian and David Luiz. You know, David Luiz is a good sort of guy to have in the dressing room, but sometimes he can't replicate that top level performance when he comes on the pitch because of his age. And then Willian's Willian, isn't he? I don't think he's really that kind of guy behind the scenes who will coach the kids or encourage them, but he was meant to have led them on the pitch in his technical excellence. We just never saw that, right? So it's been left up to players like Holding and you know, to an extent, like even a little bit, like, you know, do you know what I'm saying to you? Bellerin, you know, even to an extent, Bellerin, you know, I think like Tierney said that when he came, you know, behind the scenes, Bellerin was good in terms of welcoming people, trying to get them to understand how the club works, and because I mean, look, irrespective of what people say about Hector, he's been at the club, he understands the values, he understands, you know, what it means to be a player at the club.
We'll get on to that next, Sean. We'll get on to that next. But I want to get some of the new guys in as well. So Brad, all things Arsenal, all things football. Sorry, if you want to add anything, so
I was going to say something. As the fact that I think we need to stop bringing in these 30-plus-year-olds as examples for these youngsters, and I think having these 26, 27-year-olds in their prime or coming into their prime who can go to that next level is a much better example for someone like Saka or Smith Rowe than a Willian or a David Luiz, or we even saw the huge failure of Lichtsteiner, you know, like he was meant to be, you know, this takes Bellerin to the next level. Well, it didn't, and well, he's gone down, but that might not be true of Lichtsteiner, of course. But if we start signing this kind of profile of player as example, we might see better progression in the others, because Saka's, I'm not being funny, I don't care if Arteta was to say different, Saka's not learned anything from William this season. Like, he hasn't. And he learned more from Aubameyang last season. Or the season before, when he first broke through, when Aubameyang was at the top level. We saw that, and how they're learning from players in their prime and at the peak of their performance, rather than players who have passed it, because they can't learn from them. Like, he should have learned from Willian from 5 years ago. He wants to learn players who are at the peak of their powers, and I think that bringing someone like Maddison and players like that are certainly the kind of players we're back to modelling off of.
I think personally with Saka, it's a case of he likes learning from. We're going to get into that literally just after I finish this one. But with Saka, I think he's someone who thrives on structure, especially in terms of coaching. He loves to be coached. He loves to be able to learn from the coaches around him. You can see how much of an effect Mikel has had on him. What Freddie has done for him, even what Unai did for him in the beginning. Like he's someone that loves to be coached. If anyone else has any final thoughts on this issue, feel free. But I want to get onto this because it's a good topic. No. Okay. Well, let's move on. So this backup left back situation, I have 3 names that I like. Does anyone want to jump in on what they like about what they like for that backup left back?
I can guess what you're going to say. So I'm going to say someone different. So for me, I would if we don't get one of the people I think you're going to say, I think Lee Buchanan from Derby would be a good.
That is one of my names.
I do like Lee Buchanan, even though he was close to relegation.
Yeah,
he's been good. He's been actually good, and he'll offer us something similar to Tierney on the left hand side, which is the overlap high and wide.
Yeah,
he can improve defensively, but he's a strong player, and he can offer close to what Tierney can offer, but not the same because Tierney is the best left back in the world.
Anyone got any thoughts on Lee Buchanan?
well, I've not watched him.
I haven't seen a minute of him, but I'll check him out on Football Manager tomorrow.
No.
To be fair, I really like Anthony Robinson from Fulham. I think he'd be a really good backup player as well. I mean, he could also, compete with Kieran Tierney as well. I just don't want to see us get a left back that's a level below Kieran Tierney because we should try and get a competitive squad in place, and I think Anthony Robinson would probably fit that bill instead of someone like a Van Aanholt would. So
yeah, I mean, just not Van Aanholt. I don't rate Van Aanholt in terms of what we need to do with this squad.
Wait, did someone play the note? Did someone play that? Or am I just hearing things?
That was me. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's so you. That is so you. I can totally see you doing that. But yeah, I'm curious. What do you think my 2 names are?
Thierry Small and Bertrand.
Not Bertrand.
Josh Doig, you're gonna say.
Oh, Josh Doig.
Josh Doig. Those are the 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Josh Doig's my 3rd choice. Though. I think he's
Josh
a bit too
Doig,
cool.
I haven't seen much of him, but I can see that he's not as explosive as Tierney because he's much taller. He's taller than Tierney, so he's not the same. Because a lot of people, or a lot like me, I love what Tierney just knocks it, and he's so explosive around his man. And I don't think what's his name, Doig can offer that same explosiveness, but he offers heights which we don't have in our fullbacks right now, anyways.
Yeah, so I think with Josh Doig, I just don't think he has the pace and explosiveness of a Tierney, which is the only reason why he's 3rd on my list. Thierry Small is my top choice. I go at Small, Buchanan, and then Doig because.
Karen, just in case there's people listening in and don't know much about Thierry Small, because do you want to sort of explain who he is, where he's coming from?
So Thierry Small is a young left back who's currently not signed to a professional contract. He's
16
a youngster. He's 16 and he's from Everton. I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is French, right?
No, he's not. He's an English lad, but I think he's turned 17 though. I think he's just turned 17
in August.
He's English. I thought he was. I thought he's.
He turned 17 in August. And he has a year.
Oh, sorry.
I thought he qualified for England, but was originally French. If I'm mistaken.
I can check that for you, but I'm not sure.
I think he has, because I think.
Yeah, I think he's qualified for England. But yeah, he's very pacey. He's got a good ball on him. He's someone that I think can replicate a similar profile to Tierney, but he has that raw prospect. But we can see. We'll see. I mean, has anyone here actually? I've only watched 2 games of him myself. I tried to scout him, but I haven't done a full 6-game scout. Has anyone done a full 6-game scout on him?
Probably
not
in
6 games.
Georges. In the Georges, probably. I haven't watched
George
him.
probably has. I'm going to ask him later.
But a player at 16 that physically built is a big prospect.
He's really techie as well.
He's really techie,
I reckon he could play as a winger. Like, because I haven't seen 6 games of him, but I think when I saw your tweet earlier, obviously I know like YouTube videos obviously like put in the highlight reels, but it just gives you an idea of like the player's profile and what he's about. And I was watching him just giving people the megs, like like the step overs, the dragging the ball back and like spinning around. Like, I was like, is this guy even a fullback? But like,
it's a bit mad.
It reminds me a bit of Chris and guys. If you remember watching Rooney as a kid playing at that, with the older kids, where he was so well developed for his age group or even the age group that he was being put in, you thought, hold on, this kid can't be real. He's so well developed physically that it makes youth team football or anything, under 23s he just made it look easy. Like it was just too easy. That's how I think it is for Thierry Smalls at the moment. That's why I think he can possibly make the step up into seeing, like we're talking about a handful of games, right? We're hoping anyhow that Tierney doesn't go out, isn't injured for a long period of time, but he's the kind of kid that you could bring in and sort of get ready to sort of do 4 or 5, 6 appearances during a season.
If you look at we went through it on the academy episode we just did, but I think our academy, the struggle we have right now is we do not have the fullbacks. I think fullbacks is an issue at our academy.
You have a left back.
Yeah, left back, right back. I mean, do you think Norton Crafty can really make that step up?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see it, but I can see it coming. I don't think he's ready yet.
I think he plays U23 next season, by the way, because I always forget to say his name. Is Oyegoke or something? He looks like he's leaving to Brentford, so I think Brook will be the right back for U23s. But he did make his debut for U23 at 16, and he's 17 now. So he's still playing.
Chris, if you see his physical development, there's a kid again, well, like developed ahead of his age group.
Yeah.
So that you get sometimes these kids who come across and they're like physical beasts for their age. He's not, this guy is another guy. I mean, he's not as explosive as Thierry Small, but he's got great skills and he's strong.
And I think he offers more I think he's a better shooter, like shooting, than Thierry Small. Because when Brook was younger, he used to be a striker and winger. But now he's a right back and he's been playing right back for some time. And he's made his U16 England debut. Not sure about his U18s yet. And but Brook has been improving on the 18s level. I did watch him. The most recent game I watched him was West Ham, I think. And Omari Hutchinson shone in that game. He was by far the best player on the pitch.
He is someone I can see moving to the fullback.
Hutchinson. He used to be
I can see him either going back or he can go forward. I don't see him staying as like a quote unquote midfielder.
He played right wing that game. I think Omari he offers more goal threat now than he did when he was 15.
I mean, do you remember the West Ham game that was streamed on Twitch?
Yeah.
Like he looked very good in that game, if you remember. Like him and Keto looked.
Omari.
Yeah, Omari looked very good in that game.
Omari Hutchinson was very good in that game. Brook was very good in that game.
Yeah.
But
Aziz looked techy. Aziz looked.
Do you guys think Aziz should play in the first team next season?
I think he has a Saka first season. I think he has a couple of games, test him out, see how he does.
Give him the cup runs as well.
Yeah, give him the cup runs.
I don't think he's on loan. I must admit, I think he needs. I would love him to have a year in the Championship where he plays like 30 games.
I would love him at like a Brighton or something like this, or a lower league.
It's difficult current to get them into Brighton because they've got competition for.
No, but it's an example. Mate. It's like that's the kind of club I want to see him at.
I mean, I know what you mean. Like a team that passes the ball, keeps it on the floor. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I
What
mean,
do you
this is
think?
why I think when
Even
Emil
if
went
he
to
goes to Brentford,
Huddersfield,
I
it was
wouldn't
such
mind
a
him going
good
on loan to
matchup.
Brentford, because I do like how
Brentford.
Brentford play.
Yeah, but we just
So
saw.
Norwich is an option. I think we saw Ollie did quite well from last year on loan from Spurs. Obviously, I think that being a Norwich midfielder is a decent task for a low player. I think they play decent enough football to, if you can get 20 plus games in the Norwich team and excel, that's a sign at a young age, I think.
I'd like to see him at like a Luton Town because that's my second team.
I'd like to see.
We'll get to see him then.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, I'd love that. Like, I'd love to see him middle of the park playing all the time.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Like, I think,
Stand the other side of
look, I
the
think what it is there aren't that many clubs where the most important thing was, I think the reason why Emil was so good at Huddersfield is they really did take care of him. They knew when to bring him out. They knew when to play him. They knew that they were going to play to his strengths. They allowed him to develop into the role. They added a bit more responsibility to his sort of development. So we need a club with a manager setup that sort of has that same kind of impact for Aziz, because I think if he can get a year under his belt like that, where he's consistently around the men's team game, he will make massive physical improvements.
I know it wouldn't happen, but I would love to see him some Aziz murder ball. I would love to see him just go completely full in Leeds, physical dominance. Just really get.
I just don't think Prem's he's not going to come in and just offer. I want a team where he's guaranteed to basically play like the Championship, where there's so many games, gets your physical up, and there's so many examples of how good that's been for it. Mason Mount, Tammy Abraham.
I think as well. You look at the development path of some players, like you know, looking at how good Mount is now. And how good how easily he acclimatized to the Premier League. You could probably have made an argument that he was probably ready when he was at Derby to play Premier League football. But that development, that season at Derby, made him in different ways, because the Championship's far more physical, than Premier League.
Even a more new example is Harvey Elliott at Blackburn. He's had a really good. He's had a very good season. That's helped his development a lot. So I feel like next year, I don't know, Liverpool might loan him back out. I don't know, but he's been good this season. I think
the best place for youngsters right now is the Championship, because they'll get first team and is much more aggressive than the Prem.
Yeah,
even though the Prem is more aggressive than the top five.
Do we have teams that we like? I wouldn't mind seeing. I wouldn't mind seeing him at somewhere.
I wouldn't mind seeing him at West Brom.
West Brom is an option.
No, I don't like. I fucking hate West Brom. I hate West Brom. I don't want him West Brom.
Now Big Sam's there, then I don't mind doing him a favour. If he was still there, I would have said no way. But
who is this new manager they've signed? Has anyone got any idea about? I saw they signed a new manager. I have no idea.
Wasn't he from Nottingham or Barnsley? Wasn't it?
Barnsley.
Yeah. He's what's it called?
So they've given him.
The manager they've just signed, in 4 years he's been at 4 different clubs. I think that's all you need to know. He's been at Lask. So 4 years ago he was at Wolfsburg. Then he went to a Greek team. Then he went to Lask, and then he went to Barnsley.
He did get in playoffs, to be fair.
Yeah, they did really well, to be honest, Willow. Last year they did really well. And
a manager going to 4 different clubs in the last 4 years. But to be fair, there are some decent clubs in there. Wolfsburg and Lask, they are good clubs.
Yeah, I think when you guys saying some clubs in the Championship, I think a team like Bournemouth, if they do a rebuild again, somewhere like that where he could go and sort of play his game and be out of the spotlight, but still have enough pressure to sort of develop within a competitive team.
It depends on with Bournemouth, because if they're still 3 at the back, I don't really rate it. I don't really want him in a 3 at the back system where he's maybe playing in like a 2-man midfield.
Yeah, you want them in what they're going to be playing in for us, ideally.
Yeah, you want him in a 4-2-3-1.
That's why I never really understood the multiple Saliba loans, because we had him playing in teams who were playing back threes, and we're just not going to play that consistently.
No, he's played a back 4. He played in a back 4 the whole season.
Yeah, but when he was thingy for a while, Saint Etienne played.
Yeah, but the Etienne team was part of the deal, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the only way we could get him.
I think he just played a back 5 for like a couple games, but not too many.
To be honest, with Nice. I think when he first got there, they did play 3 at the back, and then they stopped and they
He
went
did
to
the
centre
centre
back.
And then Todibo
Yeah.
came when he started playing in a 2.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
Yeah,
him
with-
playing
yeah,
at
with-
the centre back
yeah.
will help.
Let's remember as well, they changed manager, didn't they? Because Vieira left, so they would have changed system for that.
yeah.
Mount did have previous loans. He went to Vitesse.
Yeah, Vitesse. Yeah.
And also,
Yeah,
he was
that's
tearing up
an
in the
example. Like, you even look at the midfielders that have been signed from the Championship, like Eze and Maddison, and even Grealish coming up from the Championship for
Yeah.
the second time. I mean, it's no coincidence that all 3 of those players completely excelled in their first season in the Premier League.
Yeah.
That's true.
It toughened Grealish up as well. Like, he takes a lot of fouls now. He didn't when he first came to the Prem that first time. He
The
wasn't
most
that
in the
sort of
league.
player.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think it just has to be the Championship because we've seen other successful loans from our club, like Ballard. Ballard has been very good, and I think
I wouldn't mind us sending a player or 2 to Blackpool because they've
I wouldn't mind sending a defender down there because I think they'll
Ballard's
just
going to Millwall, though. He's going to come back a right cunt, isn't he? He's going to come back and everyone in the face.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Yeah, he'll do
Millwall,
it.
I like Millwall.
Huh?
I like Millwall. I have a soft spot for Millwall.
Oh god, I couldn't imagine that. He's going to come back doing an Eric Dyer. He's going to run into the stands. If everyone's giving him grief, he's going to get in the stands, have a punch up.
The difference between him and Dyer is that Ballard has a trophy.
Yeah, true.
That made their highlight DVD, didn't it?
Yeah,
It did.
that was one of the best parts of the All or Nothing when that happened.
Oh god. Did people watch that All or Nothing?
I've watched it twice. I'm on my second time watching it. I absolutely love it. Anytime I feel sad about myself, I watch that and think it could be worse.
The best part, though, was, when they asked Mourinho after that, they said, look, we didn't really get much of a chance to sort of see any of your tactical insight. And he said, yeah, deliberately kept that out. And I thought, how did you keep it out, mate? Because I don't really see what you were doing in there on the pitch compared to, like what he was doing on the training pitch compared to what happened in the games. Because in the games, he was literally like, all right, we put Kane and Son up there, and someone we get the ball up to them, they score a couple of goals, and we all sit back behind the ball, right? That's all they did.
I don't get it. I feel like
he predicted when he was like, watch out for this. Pogba's going to pick up the ball in the halfway lane. He's going to ping a ball to Rashford.
Yeah.
And Rashford's going to take a shot, and it actually happened in the game.
I don't get some of it though, because the Mourinho thing, like a lot of the time when I was watching, I started watching it again. He's always saying in the changing room, he's like press. I swear to God, so he would do that. He would go press, and then as soon as the camera's off, he'd like scratch that all, just drop back, sit deep.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Mourinho is prime time TV. Like,
yeah,
they were guaranteed money from Mourinho being there. So it was a smart move to do it. To do it the year Mourinho was there, not the year you go to the Champions League final.
I don't think they should have got rid of him though. For Nuno, for what reason? Like Nuno's not going to do anything that Mourinho is not going to.
Especially not before a cup final as well.
I am praying for Nuno. Come on, just sign it.
Spurs the situation now. Spurs
hold on, Karen. Are you going to pray so much that you're going to get a tattoo of Nuno if Nuno goes to Tottenham?
Yeah.
No. No. Okay, this is YouTube. These things do not get deleted. Okay. No tattoo.
But the Nuno thing, though, the only thing I would say is he's got quite a good record against us. So North London derbies could be.
Yeah, they had a big game.
No, to be fair, like they frauded the win against us at Molineux. Like,
I know, but the last 3 seasons they've been up here, they've been doing well against. Like, we've hardly done anything against them since they've come up. Wolves.
We beat them 2-0.
Yeah, but I mean, out of how many fixtures? 6? Out of 6 fixtures, how many have we drew or lost? Like, it's not a good record.
Yeah, it's not.
Listen, man, I think as long as if Nuno goes there, the interesting thing will be who George Mendes shoves into Tottenham, because it looks like he's got his claws into Tottenham at the moment, and he isn't letting go. So,
do you know what I think about Tottenham? The weird thing though, is how they just let Benitez go to Everton. He's clearly the better manager.
No, but
how are they just even more music to my ears, man?
I don't know, because Levy said though, didn't he? Like, as much as Nuno, I think they wanted a bit more exciting football, and Rafa Benitez is the epitome of the not like he is the most.
He's Mourinho-like, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Mourinho-like, and he's literally come out and said that we've lost our identity. We're going to start playing more exciting football, and that is not Rafa Benitez.
To be honest, it's not Nuno neither, though. To be honest, he's a mid-block team. He's a mid-block manager team. You know, like all his teams.
Back.
But that suits them though. They're a mid-table team. That's what kind of manager they should be getting. That's what you know. Once Harry Kane goes and stops clawing them up there, they're going to go back to being what they should be, irrelevant.
Yeah, we have 2 draws and a win against Wolves.
What, you're going to tell me that Tottenham are going to have this glory period and they're going to have no trophies to show for it, man? What the hell?
No. This is the end of their glory period. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
They're going to be Newcastle. They're going to turn into Newcastle. I don't know if they're going to go down.
You're saying that
Newcastle dirty there. You know
I don't know if they're going to go down or not, but they're going to finish bottom half. They're going to finish bottom half. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. They're going to finish.
As Cohen said,
they're going to finish is 9. I do not see them finishing.
If anything, the golden period ended in 2019.
Yeah, I hope this gets clipped up. I want to be abused by some Tottenham fans. I really do. I would love it.
I've no idea what's going on.
Don't abuse me.
YouTube that I've seen where Karen and Willow are both inviting abuse.
I'm up for it.
You're hearing this, Chris? Like they're literally saying to people, "Come and abuse us," because we sort of enjoy it.
Like with Tottenham, I just think I don't waste any breath on teams like Tottenham, Aston Villa. They're in the same bunch. Some shit teams, you don't win nothing, and they finish top half, and they think there's something. Villa didn't even finish top half.
They finished
above Villa still,
and they think they're special or something like.
The thing is, CK, they only had like a decent half season carried by Grealish gravity, and heads start swelling. Like we're this, we're that. Like
then Grealish goes and they pitch.
Grealish goes and you know the Villa that lost like 18 games in 15-16, where they had like Bakuna and what's his name? They had Bakuna, they had Agbaloho, Bakuna. Yeah, they had Gested as well, and they had what's his name? Veratu and Ghana Gay and all that.
Yeah.
Those banter days are coming back. I'm telling you, those days are coming back.
Look, I'm just waiting for the Jamie Redknapp, Darren Anderton era to re come up. I want the one day Ramos era back. That's the
Ramos.
That's the era I feel is coming.
Hold on, man. Didn't one day Ramos? You know when he used to do interviews, like when he used to speak. I swear, you guys got to think back to this. So someone's got to dig it up, right? Didn't he like almost whistle because he had a little bit of a gap between his 2 teeth or something, and then he like whistled in his interview, like.
That's right. I feel bad. I actually feel bad.
I couldn't keep a straight face every time I listened to the guy. You know, he would like whistle his way through an interview, and I'd be like, "Is it just me, or did that man just whistle his way through an interview?"
I've done that a couple times, and it is so embarrassing.
I actually feel bad because that's not on him at all. But like, it is quite funny. I'm not gonna lie.
Are your big expenses of being a footballer? You can afford braces. Come on.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. Come on. I mean, look, Brendan Rodgers got his teeth whitened, man. After all the Liverpool players got their teeth whitened.
Every manager has. You know,
even Emery got his teeth straightened.
And Klopp did it as well. Like everyone.
Fabinho as well.
Everyone comes in and gets a new set of gnashes.
Gabriel as well.
That Premier League money. Like Gabriel was already had them teeth. Gabriel had them
I mean, but when Firmino done it, man, I don't know who advised him on that shade of white, but that is some crazy white, you know that? That's not even like brilliant white, that's crazy white.
Yeah, I know, but
he said
welcome to the team.
Said the story. They all went to the same guy when like we want whiter than white. Him, Klopp, Mane, all of them. Or like we want whiter than white.
They basically their whole thing is if we get paparazzi, the flash of the camera will just reflect off our team, and it will ruin the pictures.
I feel like I think that was a tactical thing for Liverpool as well. They knew Firmino was finished. They thought, right, we'll whiten his teeth. That it will actually blind the defenders, and maybe it will score a couple.
Basically, the whole thing is evening games. The floodlights are on. It'll get lost in the team.
No, Liverpool quality, man.
No, respect.
Guys, what do you think is going to happen with Liverpool? Do you think they're going to make a comeback next year? Do you think they're going to be back to their level?
I've said it. If they
Liverpool are my favourites for the title.
Yeah.
For the title?
Yeah, mine too.
Wow, man, that's a big claim. You think Van
Yeah.
Dijk's going to come back
I
100%?
think Wijnaldum's going to be a big loss for them, man.
I think
This
they
is
Gigi's
the
going to
thing.
be a massive loss for them.
No, I think if
Yeah.
they sign someone like Elam for midfield and they sign an Isaac up front, I think that they
I don't
think
think
they
they
have a
sign
title
Xhaka.
team on their hands.
Mm.
If they
Well,
make those two
I-
signings, a world class
I
team
think
and a world
I don't even think they're
striker.
two signings away. I think it's one signing. I
excited.
think it's a midfielder. They sign one. Like
Yeah,
if they're smart, they hijack the Basuma thing.
They want
Anyway.
Newhouse.
No, but they're having a big summer this summer. If I've taught like if anyone watches Lawrence McKenna and what he's kind of said on it, it looks like what he's saying is this year last year they kind of took the hit on the transfer market, but this year they're going to have that clear out and they're going to bring it. They're going to spend big this summer, so I think they'll bring
They
quite
hit
a few
2
players.
years
but
now.
I mean, if they sign Kanate, Tielemans, and Isaac, then I think that they can really push. I really do.
I don't
Yeah,
think
They're a
I
model.
think they wanted
I
Sancho,
would
but
like to see
Sancho looks like he's going to
in the next few
United.
years.
Well, they're linked
Yeah,
with
looks like that's
Mbappe
probably
as
gonna
well.
happen.
They're linked with Mbappe, so I don't know about that because he's
I
only
just
got a
can't
year.
see Mbappe going
Yo,
Liverpool.
There is no way, man. I see
I
Mbappe
don't
going
think
to
I've-
Liverpool.
I've seen Liverpool fans suggest they're going to do crazy things on Twitter if they get Mbappe. I'm talking
Yeah.
plus
What?
Have you heard any of them
18,
say
18,
Arsenal fans will
18,
do crazy things.
I'm talking 18 and plus things to
Come
each
on,
other.
like there's a lot of fans. Any team in the world you sign Mbappe, like people are going crazy.
Thing is,
Yeah,
though,
but
like,
that's-
Liverpool just don't have that Mbappe. Even when they won the league, they just still didn't have that pull for like that Mbappe sort of player. I don't know what they need, but
I
they just
don't
don't
think
have it.
I don't think it's pull. I just think that normally they
Money.
do smart business. They just do smart business. It's not about pull. Liverpool,
Yeah.
you know, I think people do need to get like right. Liverpool are the second biggest team in England, and they have got pull. Coming to the Premier League's pull, working under Klopp, arguably one of the best managers in the world. You know, he's definitely top 3. I don't know where everyone else ranks him. Like it's a it's a very appealing project.
I agree with what
Wasn't that when
but
they
do
only
still
spent 1 million
deserve
on Harvey Elliott?
That can't be true, can it? The Sancho thing.
No, it's Z being Z.
He's just saying that there's going to be news late in the window. People are going to start complaining. Oh, we didn't get Sancho. We didn't go to United and all this stuff.
Imagine if we stole Sancho from Man United. Just
Oh,
imagine.
no. We are not doing this. This is Z trying to derail us. Like
No,
he
no,
always
no.
does.
Look, I know we've got no chance, and they've done groundwork for years, Man United. But I'm just saying it'd be very funny. I can't
No,
lie.
they won't.
Can you
win.
imagine
No, I
what
think they need.
meltdown,
I think
man?
they need to have him because really, like they've signed him for the right hand side,
And he's
and
a-
predominantly he's not a right-sided midfielder.
I want to
I agree with you, Chris. I
address
agree
this
with you.
quickly because the thing is,
Still an upgrade.
a lot of United fans think that he played well in 18-19 with Dortmund on the right
19-20.
wing. Sorry, yeah, thank you. 19-20, thank you.
Yeah.
With
Who was his
Hakimi.
right back? Exactly. His right back was Hakimi.
There were even games with Hakimi. You watch him and you're like, this guy's been shocking. Like he's been taken off early against Bayern Munich.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
like 30
within
minutes
half
in,
an
wasn't
hour.
it?
It was
He's been
within
taken
half an
off
hour.
before half time as
Yeah,
a right winger against Bayern Munich with no injury.
No.
Like
He's certainly improved their squad, but he's definitely not the answer to their problems, I tell you.
they're better right wingers they can get. There's not a better left winger that's available. But right winger, there are better ones that I think that are more.
Those
Should have gone for Rafinha from Leeds.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, good shout, Chris.
Thank you.
Rafinha was perfect for them, probably. Or earlier in the winter, they could have got Buendia, who also would have been a big option. for
Yeah,
them.
I think I'm more frightened if United go and get a great DM like a Rice or like a. I'm trying to think of other DMs. Even if they got Basuma, I think Basuma would do great
Maybe
for them
a
as well.
DD.
Like if they went and got a great DM, I'd be more scared of that because I think that changes them as a team.
yeah, because it frees
No.
Pogba.
Yeah.
I think the scariest thing would be if United actually realised that they need a centre back more than any of those 3 positions. Like one to partner Maguire.
The thing is, I see United fans consistently think
I
they're going
think
to get Varane.
McTominay,
They're going to get
Fred,
Varane
still
for
keep
years.
You don't think they're going to get him?
True.
He wants to leave though. He's not signing a new deal.
Yeah, but I seriously think United are just trying
He's
to talk
done this
into
thing before with this. I'm not gonna sign a new deal.
Yeah.
I know, but people said that about
United
Ramos.
as well.
People said that
It's
about
so
Ramos
common
this
to
year
do
when he
in
went.
Spain as well. It's just a done thing in Spain.
Varane's done it
Yeah.
before. Like, I'm going to United. I'm going to United. Oh look, a new 5-year deal.
Oh, come on, CK. Listen, I'll tell you what, guys, stop. let United fans believe that. And can you imagine it's another Sergio Ramos episode? They would literally be like shitting themselves and crying all over themselves. Do you know what I mean?
I just need some other fans apart from ours to cry for a bit. Please.
Chelsea fans are
Listen,
crying.
man, there's plenty of fans crying in other clubs, but it's
Chelsea
just like
fans
they're
are
making
crying,
you people the most depressed.
Boy, this is what I'm loving. Like Lambs has been so
I don't
silent.
think there's many
She
fans.
was giving it all the gas here about the Buendia talk, and then I was just like, "What's going on with Hakimi, Lambs?" Crickets. Crickets. Yeah. Brilliant.
The two top targets are Hakimi and Haaland, and they both look like one's staying and one's here we go to PSG. So,
Haaland's just going to need too much money. Like, he's still got long on his deal under Dortmund. So it's not like they've got to accept anything.
I'll tell you what's going to make me laugh, though. I'll tell you what's going to make me laugh if Chelsea go and get Nicolas Soule from Bayern Munich, and that's their top signing. This summer.
Priori.
That's their top signing this summer. Right?
They'll probably they'll probably sign Adama on deadline day or some shit.
Yeah,
I can imagine that.
Listen, I don't rate Adama. I don't see what everyone sees. I genuinely don't.
He's good at being his man, but that's about it.
To be fair, right wing back, it could be a problem.
But I'll tell you what, though, guys. Guess what? Then Werner would have a role in the team, though. I reckon the only worry I have is, like, if Adama Traore goes to Chelsea, Werner will have a role in the team. Somebody needs to apply the baby oil to his hands and arms. So I think Werner could just about do that.
I seriously think if they go for Adama Traore, I will say this now: if our window is semi-decent, I'm not even talking 9 out of 10. I'm talking 7 or 7.5 out of 10. If they get Adama Traore, I do not think we finish below them. I just don't.
I don't care who they get. For me, I don't. What with Chelsea, what they do is sign names, and certain signings they need. I don't think there's a massive name there. So, for example, Aspilicueta is still their backup right back, right?
Yeah. And backup right centre back as well.
And who's their backup left back? Alonso and Emerson. Who they're trying to get out, so they still need a backup left back, backup right back, winger.
There's rumors, CK, that they're going to get Bertrand back, though. You know.
Yeah, I saw them, but Bertrand will be good backup as well.
They're in for Rice again, as apparently like Tuchel likes Rice as well. I don't
That's
rate
why
Rice.
Lampard was sacked, you know.
Yeah,
we won't delete the stream.
Tuchel wants to get sacked again.
They won't get Rice. If Lampard was sacked for consistently asking for Rice.
I know. I just read an article that was saying about Tuchel like wanting Rice as his own target, but I just don't rate Rice like that. They've got Jorginho.
What I don't understand here with the Rice thing here is, I think we can all agree that this has been his best season. And it's like, why 100%. Is no one not pointing out that it's not coincidental that it's also been Souček's first season?
Yeah.
Yeah. All these teams, United have been linked with him, Chelsea have been linked with him. They're looking to make him a single pivot. Like, I think he would absolutely get found out as a single pivot.
100%. Listen, Chris, he gets outrun as a single pivot. He was getting outrun by us when we came back in that 3-3 draw. He was literally just moving forward, and then the player would pop behind him, and that's it. He doesn't have that awareness as a single pivot.
My thing is the fact of the matter is there is this I don't like. If I'm going to pick up any season to pick up a guy with a breakout season, this is not the season. This season is an abnormality in terms of football, in terms of history of football.
Rice was decent before. With Rice,
decent before. But I want to see. If I'm a director of football at a club, I want to see how Rice performs in terms of this season. I want to see if he's the same guy without the COVID. Everyone back at the stadium.
I don't know, because last season, well, not last season, the season before last, like when Lampard wanted him, I think he was still quite a good player, and he was getting valued at about 60 million. This year, it's about 80 million. If they wait another season and say he has a better season, they're going to have to pay astronomical prices for Rice.
That's true. That's true.
And I would rather pay £2 for Rice at my supermarket.
I'll tell you what, though, Willow, he's going to be exposed. He's going to get exposed. I think not as exposed as a player, but exposed to the European game. So it'll be interesting to see how he plays in Europe against some of the top teams if they get there.
But Chelsea and United aren't the only teams that need a DM, because Man City need a DM as well. Because Rodri
ain't that guy, man. He just ain't that guy.
And Fernandinho's gone, so they need someone else. because
But Fernandinho not signed
there
for
try
Madrid?
playing Rodri
Not
for
yet.
35 games or
Yeah.
38 games with all their midfielders Pep's going to try field. They're going to struggle.
Yeah,
I mean, if the Champions League final wasn't evidence that he needs to cover that position, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I don't know why he didn't just field like Fernandinho or Rodri. I don't know what
Should've.
he's thinking.
but a lot
But
of them
without-
He went away from what brought him to the final, because if you watch the knockout
Yeah.
game, he was playing a double pivot. He never played a single pivot. And in the final, he randomly decided, because that big clip was going around before where he goes, Chelsea pack the middle.
Yeah.
So he knew what Chelsea would do and pack the middle, but he put less numbers in the midfield. So he messed up himself.
The other thing is I think Pep watched our game against Chelsea as well, and I think he tried. Do you not think that that played a massive influence on how he set up that game?
No, because we played three at the back and went man for man.
No, but he went man for man. That's my point. He didn't play three at the back, but he went man for man.
Wait, didn't they beat Chelsea just before?
No,
Chelsea beat them.
They've lost.
No,
They've lost 3 times in a row.
They've lost 3 games.
Twice in a row.
They've
Yeah.
lost 3
Two
Oh,
shots.
yeah, you're right. And I'm thinking of no, my mistake. Yeah.
But going back to the conversation about the DMs, though, the thing is, the only one who's really rumoured with DMs is us. Like, I'm not seeing United really get linked with anyone that much. Like, I'm seeing everyone get linked with Rice. Yeah, exactly. But it's like Chelsea.
Everyone.
Do you know what it is with big teams? Yeah, like obviously we're a big team as well, but I mean like the ones that have got money and like they are looking at Sancho because he sells shirts and because of the windfall and the fanfare and the excitement, and like they, the guys upstairs in these big clubs, they want the marquee signings and they don't look at DMs and see that kind of impact. They don't see the capacity for a DM to be a marquee signing. But I guarantee now, if Kante wanted to leave Chelsea and City bought him, that would be a marquee signing. That's what they. That's what I don't get it with, I've always noticed, United, Chelsea, even us, our most expensive centre back is Mustafi. That is still our record defensive signing. It just kind of shows that we just kind of criminally.
But the thing is, though,
disrespect,
we do spend a lot of money on centre backs. It's a crazy figure. I can't remember what it is, but
isn't it
most in the league since 2018? We spent the most.
No, but it's actually all about centre backs. Like we've bought I can't remember how many centre backs it is over
It's a lot.
the last
11.
5 years.
We've bought 11.
It's more than any other position. So we've spent so much on centre backs. It's just been such piss poor scouting.
Yeah.
We do spend we only got David Luiz the other year. We only got Socrates 3 years ago. We do get centre backs. We just
does anyone remember how much we spent on Socrates?
It's got 18 million.
19 million pounds.
We spent 19 million pounds on a 30+ centre back.
That's the thing, yeah. I think, yeah.
Sven Mislintat.
And that's it, man. That guy is still getting stand by people in our fan base, People still going around Sven Mislintat should never been let go. I'm thinking to myself, are they insane, man?
He can rot.
Before we move on, I just want to, because a lot of people are upset about this Mavropanos deal. So I just want to talk about this because I want to know, because I know what it is, but does anyone know what Stuttgart's record signing has been?
£9 million.
£9 million. Right,
Wow.
they are strapped for cash. Right, and if we talk about that deal, it's not the biggest deal, but the main thing in there is that sell-on clause.
We don't know how much it is, though. That's the thing, though. I know it's all well and good saying that, but if it's 20%, I'm sorry, I don't really give a shit, because it's not like we're going to be. Is he really going to be selling for 40 million? Where that 20
mil, yeah.
You never know.
It could be a 50%. You guys could be right. It could be a 50%. But I'm just saying we don't actually know the ins and outs of that deal.
No, but the fact that it's there shows that there's been some sort of nous behind the deal. It's not just we just gone.
Let me say something to you. Yeah, look, at the moment, probably putting a sell-on clause on players that we are selling for a low fee is a good idea, because when the market picks up and if all the football teams recover from the COVID market, Stuttgart are a selling club. We all know that they're going to sell Mav. Mav is way above their level in terms of his age and where his projection is going. So let's say they sell him for, I don't know, 15, 20 million euros 3 years down the line. Even if we got a 30, 40%, which isn't beyond the realms of reality because of the low fee that we've asked for them, because they say they haven't got money, we would make what people want for him now from that sell-on fee later down the line.
No, agreed. And I did have a little look into things, and not with the Marvel Panos deal per se, but it was actually Man City and what they do. And I've been looking at like how they bought like Mari, and they've been buying loads of youngsters for like
Even
1 million. But like it's very interesting to see that 1 to 2 years later, they don't go and flip them for high prices. They sell them for about 2 million, and then a year or two later, they flip them. The team that bought them sell them on for high prices. So I feel like they've done the same kind of formula as City, because I think City also do the sell-on clauses as well, where that's where they predominantly pick up a lot of money. I don't know if Arteta's bought that. I don't know, but that looks like what Man City's structure is.
What I'll say to you is the contract negotiations are garlic and Lewis.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a case of Arteta. I think Arteta has nothing to do with in terms of what the dynamics are in terms of how much we're selling them for. He's just told them, look, he's not staying here. So
that's the third sell-on clause we've put on this summer, because
Medley,
McGuinness, and Mavropanos all have sell-on clauses.
I understand where Willow's coming from, though, Karen, but I think you're right that Arteta might have a direct say in it, but I think when the executive team sit down and they come up with a strategy in this market, I even know in Brazil
it's a team.
it's a team effort. But in Brazil, for example, they do.
It's like a thing by committee, isn't it? Like where they.
But the thing is, though, when he actually came to Arsenal, like a lot of what he was changing would have been like he would have had talks about him even asking about like the drones and stuff like that. We did sign him as well to kind of be like, look, what do you do at City, because we're fucked here. Like I don't know, because you look at it, like when he came in, we were just a fucking mess.
But you know what it was, though. I mean, this City thing. Let me give you some perspective for that, because Tiki Berg. I can't pronounce his surname, man. You know Bergenstein, is it? And Soriano. Those guys have been in place at City and stayed in place for a long time compared to any of our executives above the manager. So that's what's allowed like Pep to come through at the first place. Because I think Man City were clever. They always wanted Pep. Man City wanted Pep before he came for a number of years, because they basically had brought over two guys that he'd worked with at Barcelona. And it happened that they had put in place a strategy and a philosophy in terms of how they recruit, how they go about their business, right? So for us, our problem wasn't Arteta coming with these new ideas. He could revolutionise maybe things like the pitch, the training, like the training and stuff, and the preparation and stuff. But he wouldn't have been able to sort out that layer above him, and I think that's why the club had to sort of. They could ask him for advice. They could say like, how did they manage things and stuff. But ultimately, they need to recruit people who brought those ideas with them and could provide it for the next 5-6 years. This is why I'm slightly worried about people wanting to get rid of those guys above us, right? I mean, Raul, we got it. He got into that job by accident. Right, he was there when there was a bit of turmoil, but I think with Edu, I think he didn't come to us with no experience. He had experience, and I think what we need to allow this guy to do is to work and then judge him at the end of the window. I get this idea that it doesn't matter who we bring in above Arteta, that they're going to always say, he's not good enough because of the past history. Do you know what I mean? Without giving that guy a chance. So I think what we need to do with this new team is stand back, let them work, and let's see what they do at the end of this window. Right.
Before we do go, because I want to hear from Sam, because he's in a bit of bother in terms of Twitter about his remarks about Wales and Africa.
I get in heat on everything.
So I want to give you a platform here, mate. So do you want to clarify what you meant, or what are you saying, mate?
Well, to be honest, it was straight away. It was straight after the Wales game. It was I just saw that Nigerian flag in the guy's name, and I just remembered that Sierra Leone game because I had a bet on the game, and Nigeria cost me from 4-0 up. So I just put that tweet out, and a couple of Nigerians started replying early on. So I just said, as a joke, Wales will walk the African Cup of Nations. I checked back in 30 minutes later. It's got like 200 quote tweets.
I saw it. I was tempted. I was like, nope, staying out of that one.
Oh, it completely blew up.
You managed to wind up the whole of Africa, Sam. I love that.
Just as well, my
I'm
missus
always
is
like
asleep,
that
mate.
one, to be fair.
Yeah.
What were your
Chris,
thoughts on that
just,
Wales
when she
game,
wakes
mate?
up, make sure you give his details so she can get onto him.
I don't know, man.
What were your thoughts on that Wales game, Sam?
To be honest, like the first, I think it was 10, 20 minutes, we actually started well, but it just
Bale looked like he was going to have a blinder.
Yeah, it just I don't know what happened. It just completely stopped. And then the thing is, I think it's quality caught up with us because you look at our midfield. We've got Ramsey in there, okay, but then alongside him you had Joe Allen, plays for Stoke City. Like that's a problem. And then Joe Morel as well. He doesn't. He plays at Luton. He started 5 championship games last season. He started 4 games in the Euros for us.
Well,
It's just quality that kills us.
Don't disrespect Luton like that, though. Quality club. We're quality, you know.
No.
Guys, I'm going to shoot off, man. Listen,
yeah,
it's
go. We're
a
gonna
pleasure.
wrap up in a bit, but I wanna quickly say this, Sam. Just you need to realise you have the Welsh Xavi in your hands. Okay.
Welsh.
We just got to qualify for the World Cup now. Like it's still doable. I think we got to draw away at the Czech Republic and then like beat Estonia and Belarus, and we're at the World Cup, which I really hope we go.
Yeah, I think you'll do it, Sam. I think you'll do it.
I think you do it. I do like Wales as a team because the thing is, I think Wales is a nation that what they're doing really well is that the team is better than the sum of their parts.
100%.
So I do like that Moore lad. He seems like
Keith Moore. Yeah, he signed for. He scored like 20 goals, 25 goals in the championship. He had a good season, to be fair.
I do like him. He's got that Terry Butcher headband on. I do like a target man. So I do like him in the air. He had a good header against in that first game. Who did he play first?
The Switzerland game.
The Switzerland game. He had a great header on him there. So I do like the look of him, and I do see a good future there. I just think that you need to start getting players in terms of either send them abroad or get them in a more competitive league because at the moment
we were quite. You could say we were unprepared for the Euros because literally our manager he went to court. We had Robert.
He's in jail, ain't he?
Yeah, I don't even.
Probably they have Robert Page since like November or so.
Yeah. And then we had, I don't know if anyone noticed, his number 2 was actually, Stuyvenberg, our number 2.
Yeah.
So he was doing the Euros with us, and then he's just like, that was his final involvement with Wales today, and then he'll just do Arsenal full time because he was with Giggs.
He's one of my favourite players, people on the touchline, though. I love watching him on the touchline. He's so animated.
Stuyvenberg, he always has AirPods. Yeah. I don't know who he's talking to.
Yeah. I don't know what is with the AirPods as well. But yeah, I think. I mean, if you guys look at the time, it's been 2 hours 42. I'm gonna end it here, but I want everyone to say thank you guys for coming. This has been an insanely great thing. I'm gonna, as people head off, I want everyone to plug their stuff. So I'm gonna start with Danica because I know you have a lot of stuff going on yourself. So plug your stuff, man.
Yeah, man. So guys, you can basically find me on Twitter, Gunner King. Just Gunner King. I'm also on TikTok, but basically I'm part of the FTB Sports family. We kind of are like a syndicate. There's spin-off channels for each team. We're launching the Armory TV officially next Wednesday. That's going to be big. That's going to run through into next season. At the moment, I'm doing kind of daily roundups on my own show called Gunner King's Court. That's just kind of just rounding up the transfer news. So I do that every day except Wednesday in the evenings as well. So there's a lot going on at the moment. Just in the run up to next season.
People seem to be going off, but we're going to go to.
That was H Fosby on Twitter.
Yeah.
H Fosby and AFC Sam.
AFC Sam.
M's, but I don't know how many M's.
I think there's 3 or 4 M's. I'm sure you'll be able to find them, bro. I mean, I'll ask him himself. How many M's, Sam?
Oh yeah, I just got to pick that. I think it's 4 now because the first 2 were taken, and then I had the third, but the account went down.
Oh god.
It got copyright or something. So yeah, I think it's 4 M's.
Yeah. And, it's a mad one with you. and Hass yourself at H Fussball.
Yeah, it's H Fussball, so FUSSBA. The I is a capital I, and then the L is just the standard L. So yeah, you can follow me there anytime.
Basically, if you follow some of these Instagram accounts on football accounts, he always gets reposted. It's mad. I've seen him on like 3 or 4 times on random Instagram accounts. Like his tweets just get reposted.
If you're listening, whoever's stealing my like tweets on Instagram, like I want my royalties. You can send me a DM and then you can give me my royalties.
Hassan, that one with the Somali team, bro, that actually exploded. That made me laugh so much as well.
No, bro, it was the one with the Arabic commentator. That one.
I don't know where you found it, man. That was a gold. That was a cracker.
Yeah.
And then we've got Willow as well. So Willow's at Saliba season.
Yeah, I don't normally tweet, but I'm always on Spaces with the boys. We always talk football, so more than happy for you boys to get involved with that. Thank you for having me on, guys.
Yeah, and then Nom has got his he's actually got his Twitter handle.
I don't know how I've done that, guys. I honestly don't know how I've done that.
Look at this plan.
Listen, last time, right? The rest of you guys, right? They asked me what my handle was, and I'm like, I honestly don't know.
He doesn't.
I mean, I didn't even know what my own handle was on Twitter. So that's how old I am, man. I don't even know my own handle. So thank God that it's on there. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously I'm suffering from dementia. So
you're a Twitter founder, aren't you, Nom? You're a Twitter founder. I swear you've had it for like 12 years.
Yeah. Listen, guys. I told you I spent 10 years not even bothering to tweet anything, and then it's only the last year or last couple of months that I've actually started to become active, and I thought, nah, you know what, I need to speak up a little bit because things are getting a little bit crazy, and I just need to just go out there and speak to people that I've known on here and people that I haven't known, and it's been a great experience, guys. I mean, I've got to make lots of good friends on here, some of you guys even, as I said, I've come across and interacted. I'm just really sort of glad that I'm here on these platforms, man, talking to you guys, because it's just nice.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
And then finally is POCKK on Twitter and me as well. Mine's is. Am I going to get it right this time?
Current, they know
there you go.
They said to start the show to come and abuse you, so they're already down. They're going to come for you now.
Every time I miss, I'm going to get it. I'm
all over passion.
Yeah, don't even start giving us Karen, don't even start looking for sympathy. You said to the audience, if you want to come at me, come at me.
Yeah, I hope me and Karen have baited plenty of people tonight and filled them as well.
To be honest,
yeah, hopefully Tottenham fans, man, because
you guys are shit.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
All right.
Main thing is make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you follow us on @BallOverPassion on Twitter as well. It's been great, guys, but I'm gonna end it now. But so thank you, guys. I appreciate what.
Take care, everyone.
Cheers, thank you.
And see you later.
See you later.
Brilliant. Cheers.